Rotors.
Free. Really?
Really, free.
Okay, I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah, how much is that?
Free with 5 quarts of oil.
Free? Really?
Really, free. It's part of the A to Z savings event.
You might as well call it A to free.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
When it comes to mixing drugs, you may think you have a safe approach, but the bottom line is, mixing drugs is never safe. It can cause serious health problems like a heart attack or brain damage. Learn more at cdc.gov/stop-overdose.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Stankoven is really can be a perfect Carolina Hurricane. He plays like a dog on a bone. He's straight ahead player. I think he'll fit into what they do. He already had a goal the other night, and I think
a power play goal too.
You got a really talented young guy that I think is going to get a chance to play higher in the lineup than he did in Dallas. You know, he's going to be excited by that, and I think he's going to be a good fit for the way that Robbie wants to play, and you know that's going to be good news.
Hi! It's the Adam Gold Show. What's up? Man, am I ready for today.
It's a Friday.
Were you not sure? I'm Adam Gold, that's Victoria. That
It's a long Friday
sounded
for
like
me.
a question.
It's a long Friday for me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
You're going to...
Double doing it today.
You might grow a taproot.
I know. I'll be here all day. People want a double dose of double V.
There you go. Well, good. There's a lot going on today. Yesterday, there were 48 college basketball games.
Yes.
Today, there are less, but not that many less. Somewhere in the 30 range. There's about 10 or 12 conferences that are still playing. Some of the conferences are in the semifinals. Like Duke, there are no finals today. There will be no automatic bids handed out today, although Tar Heel fans will hope that a win over Duke will be enough to put them in the field and not ask them to also back it up with a win over either Clemson or Louisville, who each survived games on the other side. Clemson had a tough one with SMU last night, and Louisville, I don't know what they were really thinking about. They were down double digits in the second half to Stanford, then were comfortable only to see, a 7-0 run, 8-0 run, all of a sudden tie it? It's crazy. Absolute crazy game. I'm Adam Gold. That is Victoria. This is the Adam Gold Show. You are welcome to watch us do whatever this is every day on YouTube, youtube.com/Adam Gold Show /99.9 The Fan.
It's
Either
called
one.
fun, Adam.
It is fun. No, it's very. I just don't know exactly what it is we're doing. We'll also provide this in podcast form if you are so old school that you just say, "Let me download the podcast."
Yeah.
Either way, we like reviews.
I still listen to podcasts.
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
I 100% listen to podcasts, and in general, I don't go back and watch the YouTube versions of the podcast. I use Apple Podcast, whatever that's called. I use that.
Mm-hmm.
I know people use Spotify. You can use Google Play. I'm sure there are other ways to get them. So, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how you get it, but if you've missed anything, hey, did they do that? Go back and look.
It's there.
It is there. Best of the Adam Gold Show available wherever you get them. You can always, what you should do is subscribe so it's automatic. You don't have to go search. I hate searching. Yeah. Everything that I would regularly listen to, even if I only listen to it once in a while, I subscribe to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just telling you what I do. Rate, review, subscribe, like, share. Again, whatever.
All the things.
All of those things. All right, we start. That's was E.J. Raddick from the other day talking about Logan Stankoven. We actually probably won't spend a lot of time talking about Logan Stankoven today. We will talk about the Hurricanes and their game at home against Detroit. Detroit here tonight, Philly tomorrow in Philly, and then 4 days off. And hopefully Andrei Svechnikov will be healthy by the time Carolina takes off for San Jose on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because no Andre tonight. My guess is no Andre tomorrow. Orlov, not tonight. Maybe tomorrow. But the way I look at it, if you're not playing tonight, you're probably not playing tomorrow.
Yeah. And Detroit, they came off of a banger game against the Buffalo Sabres. I don't know if you saw any of that game.
I didn't see the game. I saw the score. It was 7-3 in favor of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
They scored 3 power play goals. They have one of the best power plays in the league. I think they're third in the league on the power play. They did that. They scored 3 power play goals against the Sabres.
Mm-hmm.
Look, even the Hurricanes scored 5 goals against the Sabres. So
yeah. Well, just hopefully they left all their aggression out there because the last 3 minutes of the game, basically everyone on the ice was in a fight.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
So
everybody was fighting.
all the benches just went to the showers early. Last 2.5 minutes, they had 5 dudes playing on each bench.
It happens. But Detroit had been going through it. Detroit had lost 6 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So a very important game for Carolina tonight. New Jersey beat Edmonton last night. Washington lost last night. I think they were in L.A., right? Washington lost, so the gap is, I think, 12. But the Hurricanes have a game in hand. And, look, do I think the Hurricanes are going to catch the Capitals? No, I don't. But it doesn't hurt to put pressure on them.
Sure.
And right now, the Hurricanes, again, 12 back. There's 2 games left with Washington. So, I mean, it could be on your racket without that much trouble. You win these next 2 games in the next 48 hours. You never know.
Yeah.
You just never know. Rangers have pulled even with Columbus for the second wild card spot. Columbus has a game in hand, but there are 3 or 4 teams separated by 1 point for the second wild card in the East. The West has also a similar situation for the second wild card, but there's also division races. And Ottawa, by the way, has just suddenly got good, really good, and Ottawa is going to push, maybe even Carolina beat Tampa the other night, and the Lightning have now lost 2 or 3 in a row. And all of a sudden, Ottawa's right on their tail.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be an interesting race down the stretch. I still think Tampa's the second best team in the Atlantic Division, if not the second best team in the Eastern Conference.
They get pluckier as it gets closer to the playoffs.
And again, they have incredible goaltending and Hall of Famers all over the ice. So, but big game tonight for the Hurricanes. We'll get to it in a little bit. But we've got hoops and we've got news. So let's go. All right. So let's start. It is Duke versus Carolina, Part 3. We'll get to the Duke win over Georgia Tech in a second, but first, here's John Shire. Malik Brown's probably. Actually, let's do it this way. Here's John after the game on both Malik Brown and Cooper Flagg.
I'll just tell you real quick, look, Malik was in a lot of pain, and he redislocated his shoulder. That's why, I'm sure some of you saw it. We got him a stretcher just because to tolerate the pain, and it's he was in a lot of pain, and he's at the hospital now. We'll figure out how he's doing. I'm going to try to figure out if I can go see him right now. And Cooper. He just came down, sprained his ankle. X-rays were negative, which is great. We just have to understand there's going to be swelling and to see how he recovers and how he goes from there. But proud of this team to step up without 2 of our key guys.
Yeah. Well, we have a little bit more information about not Malik Brown. I think we could all agree there is a greater likelihood that we won't see Malik Brown. Maybe until, if Duke's lucky enough to get there, San Antonio, Final Four. That's probably the best case scenario when this is a re-injury of an injury that kept him out for some time. So, and again, non-contact, I feel so bad for him because obviously he wants to play. Duke wants him to play. But, I mean, He's such a big part of what they do as well. I know Brian Geisinger gave us the stat when we talked to him on Monday. With Malik Brown on the court, Duke is plus 32 against Carolina. With Malik Brown off the court, they are minus 2 against UNC. Oh, by the way, probably not going to have Cooper Flagg today either. Here's John Shire. After in the press conference last night, with an update on Cooper Flagg, and this is again after the game against Georgia Tech.
He just came down, sprained his ankle. X-rays were negative, which is great. We just have to understand there's going to be swelling and to see how he recovers and how he goes from there. Look, to be honest with you, I would have to be convinced by everybody in the locker room when I go back that he should play. It's not worth it. It just isn't. And again, he was swollen already. It's not about being ready to go tomorrow. That's not the most important thing for us. We got to see if we can get him right for this run that we can make in the tournament. But I would have to be really convinced that we should even consider seeing if he can go tomorrow. And he may not be able to go anyway. He probably won't be able to go anyway. But I think it's a real long shot. A real long shot.
Yeah, a real long shot. I would be stunned if we saw Cooper Flagg play today. Absolutely stunned. They have not declared him out, but my gosh. I can't tell you how many people texted me yesterday he's not going to play, right? The game doesn't matter. Right, it doesn't. Duke wants to win. Duke can win the ACC tournament without Cooper Flagg. They absolutely can. In fact, they looked pretty good against Georgia Tech, even without Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown. They're obviously much better with both of them. Let's not go nuts. But without those two players, what they did was they relied on their other two lottery picks. Con Knipple and Kaman Malawak were both great. John Shire on what changes had to be made without Cooper.
Well, a lot. A lot of our actions are for him. Right. And so, we know, Khan's scoring punch. And to win without Cooper and then Tyrese, really. Tyrese has been such an important scorer for us, too. So to win without those two guys necessarily having big scoring games, I think is just a great lesson for us. You have to grind and find a way. And we did that.
They absolutely did that. And look, Duke was down by, I think the most was either 11 or 12 in the first half. They ultimately, even without Flagg, they cut the lead to 5 at halftime. And then it took Georgia Tech probably 6 minutes to score. So to me, it was Duke's defense that turned the game. And John Shire talked about overcoming the slow start and the injuries.
I couldn't be more proud. That was a little bit of an outer-body experience. That's what can happen sometimes in the tournament where you're facing a team. They don't want it to be their last game. And for us, we had two strange injuries in the first half, obviously Malik and then Coop. And to be able to respond and withstand that, and all of a sudden it's a 5-point game and a half, I think. It's a 5-point game. Was huge. And then our response to start the second half was really important. But a lot of different guys stepped up. I thought Pat's minutes was huge. I thought Isaiah, his shots and moments throughout the game gave us great energy. And then for Khan, he was just so steady throughout.
So many good players. Patrick Gongba played very well. Knipple had a career-high 28, and they basically just put him in a number 2 jersey and let him act like Cooper Flagg a lot. They ran basically everything through Con Knipple, but they were just really solid. They didn't really turn it over in the second half too much. They were great defensively. To be honest, I'm super impressed with Georgia Tech. They played hard. They scrapped. Absolutely. dynamite performance from them. It just don't have the horses. Even without Flagg and Brown, Duke's got a whole bunch of thoroughbreds. And the 3-ball was the equalizer in the game. Duke was only 7 of 30. 22%. And Georgia Tech was 12 of 27. And that's like 45 or so percent. I mean, the total equalizer in this game, because it was tight pretty much the whole way. Although Duke had a kind of a working margin of maybe 6 or 8 points for much of the second half. All right, now to UNC. And by the way, UNC is going to have to do that to Duke. They're going to have to hope Duke shoots poorly from 3, and they're going to have to make a whole bunch of their threes. That's got to be part of their formula. UNC survived a rock fight with Wake Forest. That was not aesthetically pleasing basketball, but I don't remember the time on the clock. I haven't gone back and looked at the time on the clock. But for me, here's the sequence that won the game for the Tar Heels. Van Allen Lubin, I think it was coming out of a timeout, went to the free throw line, missed the first, but made the second. That actually gave UNC the lead by 1. Then he blocked a dunk attempt. It was a great block, a great defensive play. It looked like Georgia Tech was about to retake the lead, and Van Allen Lubin blocked the dunk. Next possession, R.J. Davis knocked down a 3. Then I think the Tar Heels forced a missed shot, got the cleaned up the defensive glass, and then it was a Cadeau lob to Lubin for an alley-oop dunk. That made the lead 6, and I thought the game was over at that point. I don't know what's wrong with Wake Forest, but man, do they look like they don't practice.
Yeah,
and I know they do.
Right.
And I know that Steve Forbes is a good basketball coach.
Poor guy, they're calling for his job now after that one.
Right. There's been no real success at Wake. Their record looks pretty good. Actually, going back, and I expected it to be worse. Wake's record, kick out the year after the pandemic, the 2021 season, which basically we played only conference games. It was a weird year. Kick that out, okay? And I would do that for every school. Except I wouldn't do that for Baylor since they won the national championship. Credit to you. But kick that out. Wake's 85-49. That's not terrible.
No.
They are 47-33 in conference play. That's also not terrible. They haven't had any good success in the ACC tournament. They've only won one game twice in those 4 years. And they are 3-2 in NIT games. They went to the quarterfinals one year, and they went to the second round another year. But this is the year that really surprises people because you brought back Reed, you brought back Salas, you brought back Hildreth. You had good players. But they could not play any offense this year at all. And they lost at home to Florida State and Virginia down the stretch. They went 13-7 in the league. No offense to Florida State and to Virginia. Those two home losses could not be less acceptable.
Yeah.
The Demon Deacons should have finished 15-5 in the league, and we would be talking about them going to the NCAA tournament. But they didn't, so we're not, and they're not. And while I don't think they will move on from Steve Forbes, I think this is the first time we can't come to the end of a season where Wake Forest fans are like, we might not have the right guy.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Steve because I think he's a good coach and he is a super guy. But we are in a results-based business. Kevin Keatts really wasn't getting results, which is why NC State moved on. I'll give you a little bit of a sort of an update on them coming up in a little bit, but because I don't think we have anything concrete at all. But Wake Forest, after 5 years of Steve Forbes, the last 4 of which really count. I don't think the first one does. I think they're right now going, yeah, we're not sure. Mm-hmm. We're just not sure. All right. To the winner of that game, which was North Carolina, who have now, they won 6 in a row, lost to Duke, and they have now won their last 2. And remember, they also overcame a poor middle of the season where they had a hard time winning games. The first win in this ACC tournament came against Notre Dame. They were gifted that win by the Irish. Gifted that win. Credit to them for taking it. And that win might have really been the turnaround, even though they had some difficult losses after that. A home loss to Stanford, yeah, no good. But they are definitely playing their best basketball right now. Hubert Davis credited to one of those intangibles.
There's a level of toughness here that has been developed over the last 7 or 8 months that we've been together. And we were in these type of situations earlier in the year and weren't able to get stronger. And we were able to do it today. And as a coach, to be able to see these guys perform under pressure and do it together is one of the most amazing things that you can see as a coach.
So good luck to them. We're going to talk more about this game coming up later on, but they better shoot it well, because if they don't shoot it well, they're not winning. They better shoot it well. Duke is still loaded, even though they are flagless. They will be flagless today. Ryan Wilson, CBSSports.com. We will talk about the Panthers in free agency, and they signed a lot of their own free agents, which sometimes surprises people. And we'll look at the draft because he's an expert on that. Ryan Wilson joins us next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Let the madness begin.
Cooper will lead the break. To the right, Proctor to lay it in.
We're on the road with the ACC Tournament.
Back up top, Brown will launch. Bang!
All the hoops action will be heard here.
Cooper on the left has a drive. Good night! A two-hand stop!
The road to San Antonio is driven by Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, and First Horizon Bank. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
You've been to all those fancy driving range experiences, but you need closer to the real thing. Adam Gold here. What you need is X Golf in Cary. High-end simulator play. Food, drinks, fun, maybe even a date night, even serious competition. Buddy of mine plays in a league there, and he loves it. Memberships are available, all levels of player, all ages. North Carolina's premier indoor golf experience, and there is a PGA professional on site. Online, playxgolf.com/carry. Playxgolf.com/carry.
Global Golf is Carolina's largest pre-owned golf store. March 14th and 15th, you're invited to the 2-day sidewalk sale. This Friday and Saturday, don't miss huge deals like drivers starting at $50, name brand apparel starting at $25, shoes starting at $40, and golf bags of all kinds starting at $50. You're invited to the Global Golf Retail Store Sidewalk Sale, located on 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh. Global Golf, home of the best deals in golf.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
The soundtrack to some of your best memories comes to life on one stage. Toad the Wet Sprockets 2025 Good Intentions Tour is coming your way with special guests KT Tunstall and Sixpence None the Richer. August 21st at Coca Booth Amphitheater. The songs you love, the memories you cherish. Sing along, dance, and celebrate with friends old and new. Get your tickets now at boothamphitheater.com for one incredible night of music, memories, and good intentions. August 21st at Coca Booth Amphitheater.
Soundstation and Security, your automotive and audio experts. Car audio, car video, home theater, wheels and tires, and so much more. Plus, did you know Soundstation and Security offers full service for your vehicle? Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tinting, and custom exhaust. And with a variety of financing options, Soundstation and Security can help you get what you need today. 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Soundstation and Security. Visit myhotsound.com.
Gold.
So I was reading an article about the 10 oddest Guinness World Records, and the thing that caught my eye was most skips by a cat in 1 minute. This woman has a jump rope and is skipping with her cat. Okay, I have got a cat, and let me just tell you, the skipping alone would cause this, but swinging a jump rope anywhere near my sweet kitty Carol, she'd be gone for like 5 days.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's on the ones and twos. It is absolutely awesome. The Panthers have been busy in free agency. We'll talk about that. But also, we are only, 5 weeks away? 6 weeks away, I think, from the, might be more, might be 8, 7, I don't know, from the NFL draft. Whatever it is, 6 weeks from yesterday, maybe. Ryan Wilson, CBSSports.com, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. You have been busy, combine, flying around everywhere. When does your pro day excursion? When do those begin?
First things first, good to talk to you, Adam. 41 days, write it down until the 2025 NFL Draft, April 24th. I may have said that once or twice already today. So I live in central New York, so I'll be at the Syracuse Pro Day next Monday. The following week, the 24th, I will be at Cam Ward. The 26th, I will be at Ohio State. And I'm making plans as we speak for April 4th to be in Colorado to see Shedeur Sanders try to salvage his pre-draft process. Not that he's performed poorly, because he hasn't thrown just like Cam, but the reality, whether you want to accept it or not, is that coming out of the combine, Cam had created a little distance between him and Shedeur, primarily through the interview process. Cam did really well in the interviews, and Shedeur, while not bad, lost a little ground. I think, I don't want to say rub teams the wrong way, but it felt like there was an understanding that he was interested in doing some things and not others. And make of that what you will, based on my conversations with folks.
I do want to ask about that. What happened? What did he not? Did he say, like, look, I'm not carrying veterans' luggage? What exactly happened here? Was it more attitude, or was it more, these are the things I want to do as a player versus things I won't do as a player?
I think it was more player X and O scheme related type stuff. And again, it was nothing malicious or salacious or anything that would perhaps turn you off to the player. But when you compare him to how Cam Ward interviewed, and Cam Ward has a little edge to him too. Shedeur's a little quieter, and I give Shedeur a lot of credit because of the Shrine Bowl. He stood up in front of the media gaggle and answered a ton of questions and answered them all the correct way. I just, in talking to some folks, it feels like he's missed some easy layups in terms of just the PR side of things. Maybe he throws for a day at the Shrine Bowl. Maybe he's a little more open to whatever nonsense you get thrown at you in these interviews at times at the combine. And, Cam sort of did those things.
Right.
But at the end of the day, here's what I come back to, Adam. His 2 years at Colorado were lights out. And I know we use this time of the draft process to pick holes in guys. He's a really good football player. And I think when he throws his pro day and slings it around, we'll be back to where we started.
I mean, there are probably teams who are drafting, and I'll just use the Jets because I had seen that there was some interest from the Jets in him. There are teams like the Jets drafting at number 7 that are going, man, these chuckleheads are going to nitpick their way to us having an opportunity to draft Shedeur Sanders. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that they should or that he's going to be good. I'm not sure that Cam Ward's going to be good. I think all these quarterbacks are always overrated. I have no idea. I'm not the expert. But if you were drafting 7 and everything worked out great at the combine, those two guys would go 1 and 2. So if you're sitting at 7 and you still might get one of them and you're interested, or you're sitting at 9 and you're like the Saints, and because the Panthers aren't going to draft a quarterback, I mean, you got to be on. These guys are going to mess up and give us a chance at one of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, and you're right. We don't know. And whether it's you or me or NFL teams that spend hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to figure out who these players are, you just don't know until the player's in the situation. 6 guys went in the first round last year. No one thought Bo Nix was going to be lights out at pick 12, and he went to the exact right situation for Bo Nix and had a ton of success. And that's just sometimes how it works. You go back to the 2022 draft class where Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback in round 1, and he probably should not have been a first-round pick. And you could argue that the Steelers overplayed their hand. But Here's the thing. You sort of have to overplay your hand when you're talking quarterbacks, and I'm of the opinion, I think you and I have talked about this, you can draft 2 quarterbacks every draft if you want to. There's no downside to that because you're not winning without a quarterback. So is Shedeur Sanders going to get overdrafted? Is Cam Ward? Probably, but these teams are in their situations for a reason. Primarily, they made some poor personnel decisions, typically around the quarterback. So you can find ways to win with both those guys, but I think the story from a year ago is look how the Commanders surrounded Jaden Daniels. Look how the Broncos surrounded Bo Nix and help those guys elevate their games and elevate the games of those around them.
Yeah, and they, by the way, Jaden Daniels just got Deebo Samuel to play with, too.
Right.
Look, I don't know if we're going to get the vintage Deebo Samuel because the numbers had been dropping off. He's also had injury issues. When you play as physical as Deebo does, it stands to reason that your production is going to wane, or it certainly can ebb and flow based on how your body feels that given day. Ryan Wilson, CBS Sports, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So I'm just looking at your mock draft, and you have for the Panthers Mike Green, edge rusher out of Marshall. There's a couple of Georgia guys who are also in that mix. What would separate Green, or are we really talking about, man, it just depends on the day? What kind of differences in skills, size, weight, speed are we talking about with the edge rushers that might be there at number 8?
I love Mike Green. He's a UVA transfer and really turned it on once he got to Marshall the last few years. Now, he had some off-field things that he addressed at the combine, and I talked to teams that didn't seem concerned about them, but we'll see how that unfolds in the coming 41 days. But in terms of what you saw on the field, and I talked to him at the Senior Bowl, and he's locked in on football and a pretty quiet kid from Williamsburg, Virginia, the same high school, it turns out, as Lawrence Taylor. But he reminds me a lot of Will Anderson Jr. in that he's 6'3", about 245 to 251 is what he plays at, and he has that sort of motor. I don't think there was anyone with a higher motor last year play in and play out for 50, 60 snaps a game from what we saw from Mike Green. And, you're living in a post-Brian Burns world in Carolina, and you're trying to get back to where you once were defensively and even improve on that. And they've tried to do that a little bit in free agency, and I sort of like the things they've done. But you can never have enough edge rushers. And Mike Green feels like a top 15 pick, and if everything's clean off the field, he's a top 10 guy. He went down to the Senior Bowl and just dominated. Then dominated to the point where he didn't practice on Thursday, and that's when you know a kid's had a good week. First 2 days of practice, that's how good he was. But this defensive line class and edge rush class, Adam, is so incredibly deep. So you could go any number of directions. You could trade down if you want to, and maybe get a few picks and then pick a guy at 15 or 25 and feel pretty good about it.
I actually hope in some ways that the Panthers do that, But obviously, if the guy that they love is sitting there at number 8, they're going to take him. What is your view on what they've done so far in free agency? You bring in Bobby Brown, who's more of the run stuffer. Tershawn Wharton is more of the pass rusher, but both are defensive tackles. They're going to get Derek Brown back. You got Patrick Jones, who's a defensive end. They landed a safety in Trayvon Morig. So they have certainly concentrated on defense. They re-signed a ton of guys too along the offensive line. They gave an extension to J.C. Horn, Tommy Tremble. They have done a lot so far. The running back Rico Dowdle. What's your view on what the Panthers have already done?
Man, it feels like they're turning the corner, doesn't it? It all started with Bryce coming back and doing what a lot of us thought that he was not going to be capable of doing, at least in Carolina, when he got that second chance once Andy Dalton went down with the injury in the car accident. And it just feels like Dave Canales and what they were able to do, it feels like they're turning a corner. And Dan Morgan, and I was talking about Rico Dowdle the other day for work, and I said I feel a little bit better about the direction of the roster in Carolina than I do in Dallas, where Rico came from. Now, Rico's going to share snaps with Chuba, and I'm fine with that. I don't think there's any reason to overwork either guy, and you sort of get a 2-for-1 in that situation. But you're bolstering the defense. I mentioned you moved on from Brian Burns. Frankie Luvu went on to Washington, where he's doing what we thought he would do, and you're trying to replace those sorts of players. And I love the foundation they're laying through free agency, and then with the opportunity to continue to get better through the draft on defense. And we're at the point in the conversation now where no one's worried about the offensive line anymore, and that was a talking point for the first 2.5 years of Icky's tenure there. And it feels like we sort of turned the page on that. The quarterback feels relatively settled, and Adam Thielen's coming back, and Xavier Legette's going into year 2. JT Sanders is going into year 2. Dare I say there's reasons for optimism in Charlotte.
Whoa, easy. Let's not go too far. No, but I agree. And really it all starts with the fact that Bryce Young looked like a real quarterback at the end of the season, because if it doesn't happen that way, then everything, they probably would have still addressed the defense as they did, but we all know where they would have been right now. I don't know that they would have tried to get Sam Darnold back or one of those. Maybe they would have been all in on Aaron Rodgers. Gosh, I hope not. But everything was made better by the fact that Bryce looked good at the end of the year. And yeah, I actually think that if I was a Panthers fan, I would be optimistic that we might be able to compete for the NFC South this year. Now,
I was going to say that division is wide open.
That's a baby step, but still, because you could win the division with 9 wins, but it definitely feels like something that they absolutely could do. All right, how good the 2 wide receivers? I guess we're throwing Travis Hunter in here, but how good are the 2 wide receivers? Do you expect them both to be gone by number 10?
No. I mean, there's a world where Tedro McMillan's sitting there, and you jump at him, I feel like, if you're the Carolina Panthers. Over the summer, I was talking to some teams, and he was basically described as a more athletic Drake London, and I think that still holds. He didn't run at the Combine. I don't care. The NFL teams have access to the GPS data that those kids have during practice and games, so they know how fast he is, whether he runs a 4.4 or 4.6 in Indianapolis. He plays fast enough for me, and I think he's a guy that even if he doesn't consistently get open, he's such a big, huge target. His catch radius is enormous, and he has great hands that he is going to be a vacuum cleaner for Bryce Young. So I think he has a chance to be there, and I would think long and hard about taking him, of course. Jalen Coker was a fun story last year, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, but you don't have a lot of depth behind them. And then Luther Burden is my wide receiver 2, if we're not including Travis Hunter in this. Otherwise, he's wide receiver 3. Maybe a little too rich at that point, but if you trade down, or maybe you find something to the top of the second, and I think the Panthers have an early second-round pick, and a couple other names that I love as possibilities, late first, early second, depending on your movement up or down the board, is Matthew Golden out of Texas. My comp for him is Jordan Addison, and I think that Bryce would love to throw to someone like Jordan Addison, and then Emeka Egbuka, who's not a possession receiver. He's a big target who plays in the slot.
Right.
And he runs plenty fast. I think he ran really well. I think he ran the 4.4, if I recall correctly, in Indianapolis. And my comp for him is Amon-Ra St. Brown. So whether you're looking for Jordan Addison or Amon-Ra St. Brown, there will be plenty of options in day 1, day 2 to help out Bryce in that Carolina Panthers wide receiver room.
Yeah, I think everybody pretty much figures out that they're going to take an edge rusher. But man, real quick, I'll let you go here. And we'll talk about this again, I'm sure, before we get to the draft. And it was 6 weeks from yesterday as the first round of the NFL draft. Ryan Wilson, CBSSports.com, is joining us here, and with the First Pick podcast. Did you lose your co-host though?
Oh yeah, he's with the New York Jets, so he is helping out that team.
Why would he go there? Is he okay? Was he ill when he made that decision?
I think you know the answer to that question, Adam, and that working with me for 2 years drives people to go work for the
That is not true. There's no way that's true. He's obviously he's bumped his head. Which of the position groups do you think are the most full with, I've heard that the draft there's like a top 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever that number is, and then there's a drop-off. But which are the deepest position groups in this draft?
Edge rush, defensive line, tight end, running back. Even secondary, you can find some guys that can help you on day 3. So it's not the sexy draft in terms of wide receivers or even offensive tackles or quarterbacks like there were a year ago. Last year, 6 quarterbacks top 12, 9 offensive linemen in the first round, which is bonkers. But if you need defensive line help, edge rush help, this is the draft for you. Tight ends, guys that can make plays down the field in terms of athleticism. This group is incredibly deep. And running back, you're going to draft guys in the 5th and 6th round. They're going to help you right away. This group is also incredibly talented and a fun watch, as we get closer to the draft here.
Ryan Wilson, CBSSports.com. With the First Pick podcast. All right, you have to go on CBS Sports HQ. I thank you very much for your time, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. The pride of Bowie's Creek. I got it right.
Yes.
I didn't screw that up.
Yes.
All right, we have one-timers when we come back, so we'll do that next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we've got a new thing for you. It's called the Dog of the Day Profit Boost Token. My favorite things. One of the best parts about the tourney is when an underdog takes down a powerhouse. And right now, those upsets get even better because if your dog wins, you land even more winnings with a profit boost. This is your chance to ride with the long shots, the scrappy teams, the underdogs. There's no need to fear. All right, you understand what I'm talking about. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. Dog of the Day. Profit boost. Glorious. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager of at least plus 100 odds required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Agriculture drives our local economy. I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agricultural Institute at NC State University, and we are looking for our next generation of leaders. If you want to make a difference and help feed the world, join us at the Ag Institute, where we grow successful graduates, productive futures, and rewarding lifestyles. We offer 2-year degrees and hundreds of internships. Learn more online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
Did you know, along with keeping their local communities powered, public power line workers are part of a mutual aid network spanning the state and country? Public power crews help their neighbors when natural disasters damage electric systems. And that mutual aid network is one of the reasons public power has the highest reliability rating among energy providers, forming a camaraderie among line workers that's second to none. Interested in joining public power? Learn more about careers at electricities.com.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Dear North Carolina, for 70 incredible years, you've been by our side. From Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood to the wonders of Antiques Roadshow, from this old house to NC Weekend, we've explored, learned, and grown together. Because of your support, PBS North Carolina has gone beyond the screen, inspiring, educating, and entertaining in classrooms, at home, and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
Going to college gives you more career options. You could say it pays for itself, but it might not feel that way in the short term, especially when tuitions do. That's where the FAFSA comes in. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. It's your gateway to money for college, whether you're seeking scholarships, grants, work-study programs, or loans. It all starts with the FAFSA. So how about it? Make a plan for college and find everything you need for the FAFSA at cfnc.org.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people aged 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/aging to find your county's ombudsman.
Gold. Gold.
So I was reading an article about the 10 oddest Guinness World Records, and the thing that caught my eye was most skips by a cat in 1 minute. This woman has a jump rope and is skipping with her cat. Okay, I have got a cat, and let me just tell you, the skipping alone would cause this, but swinging a jump rope anywhere near my sweet kitty Carol, she'd be gone for like 5 days.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria is here. She is producing this program. We're going to do one-timers in a second. Rob Dauster from Field of 68. It's basically a network of college basketball podcasts, but they do podcasts basically every night. Jeff Goodman, Rob Dauster, Tyler Hansbrough does a ton of podcasts with them. I think you see just tons of former players do that as well. So we're going to talk to Rob about. He's at the ACC Tournament in Charlotte. We'll talk about the Carolina Wake game. We'll talk about Duke without Cooper Flaggs. He's going to join us from there. Before we get to the one-timers, though, are you familiar, Victoria, with O's the Mentalist?
No.
So I was not familiar with him until recently. I saw Duke put out a video. They brought O's the Mentalist in. Either maybe he was in town. I don't know. But they brought him in to just goof with the team.
I was going to say, it sounds like an act that should be at the DPAC or something.
He might have been, to be honest. I don't know. It's mind-blowing. I can't even explain it. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, there's a trick involved. I assume that there's a trick involved. Yeah. I just can't figure out where it is. He reads minds.
So that was an unintentional pun? It's mind-blowing?
Yes. Very unintentional. Very unintentional. I was just watching during the break. I was watching him. He was on the set of Golf Channel during the Players' Championship, and I caught a little bit of it, and there's no explanation.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is beyond crazy.
Oh.
And here's what I'm going to make this prediction, is that later on today, or maybe tomorrow, but definitely before the end of the weekend, I will watch 4 hours of O's the Mentalist videos.
Okay.
I will
on repeat.
I am promising that. blown away by that.
So then when you come in next week, you're going to like put everybody in a trance?
No.
Okay.
I'll just be entertained by it.
Okay.
It is incredible, just the little bits that I have seen.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one-timers.
Okay, so we do have a few people that have participated. You can either tweet at me like Chuck did at V to the Victoria with some underscores under there, or you can put it in our YouTube stream, which I've gotten from both. But first, Chuck was up first, so he wants to know, should UNC get credit for a quad one win if they beat Duke without Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown tonight?
Yes, they will get credit. They will absolutely get credit for a quad one win. Look, Cooper Flagg is the best player in the country, but Duke's pretty damn good without him. They've got 2 top 10 NBA draft picks not named Cooper Flagg.
Mm-hmm.
Con Knipple is going to play in the league. Kamon Malawash is going to play in the league. Tyrese Proctor, Sion James, Isaiah Evans are going to play in the league.
Yeah.
They're loaded. Look, Vegas isn't dumb. Duke's still a 7.5-point favorite.
Uh-huh.
Still a 7.5-point favorite. Carolina absolutely gets credit for a quad one win if they win. Now the question is, there is a sentiment out there, and I don't get it. We don't have to win. Bull, you better win this game. I promise you, UNC. Look, the bubble is soft. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Carolina is in without a win over Duke. But I will be surprised, and it will be a leap of faith by the committee. It doesn't hurt that Bubba Cunningham is the chairman. It just doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It cannot hurt that Bubba is the chairman of the committee. But you better beat Duke today if you want to get in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well, moving on to Harry from YouTube. So he's got a couple, but we'll start with this one. His one-timer first up is, are we living through the golden era of Hurricanes hockey? How much longer will it last?
Well, I mean, they haven't won a Stanley Cup yet, so it'd be hard to do better than 06, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 02 Stanley Cup Finals, 06 Stanley Cup champions, 09 Eastern Conference Finals. That's it's a 7-season run because there was no 04-05 season. So that's a 7-season run, which involved a lot of playoff success. Granted, the other years there was no success. In terms of consistent winning, yeah, this is the best that the franchise has ever done. There's only 4 other teams in the NHL that have had longer playoff streaks than Carolina, and one of them, Boston's, is about to end. So if that's what you call the golden era, yeah, okay. How much longer will it last? I think for several years. So I don't know how long Rod's going to still be the head coach. I don't.
Hopefully forever.
Oh, yeah. Look, is he going to be coach beyond Jordan Stahl's contract? I mean, I think there's a reasonable line of thinking that he doesn't.
Yeah.
That this year and 2 more is where the road ends. I don't know. Rod could coach for 10 more years. But, I mean, he desperately loves his family time. So, Brooks is in his early teens, and I wouldn't be surprised if Rod wanted to really dig in, to borrow from Trip Tracy, dig into being a dad and being at home and, I don't know, raising chickens.
Man, Rod, a chicken farmer?
Not
I mean,
really.
eggs are expensive. I might become one.
Oh, no, they have chickens.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, then
But
they don't have
Rod
boxes.
Rod doesn't do anything with the chickens. I don't think Rod wants them, to be honest.
Yeah. Just like Christmas trees. He wants the fake ones, but he has the real ones.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
Mrs. Rod Brind'Amour is like, is what I want.
Well, then it's Mrs. Rod Brind'Amour that really has the chickens.
Yeah.
It's like I have horses.
Right.
I don't.
Yes. Exactly. Well, moving on to Sawyer, also with a Canes one-timer. It's no secret that the Hurricanes power play has been struggling, because it is, since the beginning of 2025. In your opinion, what do you think is the main cause for this struggle?
Confidence. I honestly believe that. Look, the same group, the same personnel was top 5 in the league last year. It didn't have Gostisbehere, who's really an upgrade on Burns as a power play quarterback, but it's basically the same group. And they are in the bin right now in terms of the power play. I gave you the stat yesterday. In terms of percentage of scoring goals, Carolina has a higher percentage of shorthanded goals than power play goals since 2025 began. I wish I was making that up, but I'm not.
I know. Woof. Well, going back to Harry, he had a second one, but this one's about some baseball. Do you honestly think Raleigh will get an MLB team in the next 10 years? Please.
In the next 10 years? No, I don't. It really depends on a couple of things. First of all, it depends on whether or not Tom Dundon is all in on getting a Major League Baseball team, because he would be part of it. And I also think and if it's Tom, it depends on what the collective bargaining agreement in Major League Baseball brings. I don't think he's interested unless there is a salary cap, and I really have my doubts as to whether or not we're ever going to have a salary cap in baseball, because we don't need it, but that's another story altogether. Baseball has survived this far without a salary cap. I don't believe they need one, and I don't believe they'll get one. So I also don't know how much baseball is going to expand. Next hour, we will talk hoops.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And this is the time where we invest in underdogs. It's the dog of the day. Maybe I have two today. And to juice it up a little bit, we've got a profit boost for you at FanDuel. This is your chance to ride with the long shots. And let me give you two. How about ECU UAB? Pirates plus 200 on the money line. Why not? And what about NC Central against South Carolina State? I know Central's under 500, but we've got Vel plus 270. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Let's win. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager of at least plus 100 odds required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling is celebrating 51 years of trusted service. And to celebrate, get a furnace tune-up for just $51. That's peace of mind heating for only $51. Visit MitchellHVAC.com. Mitchell Heating and Cooling. Quality products and services on time from a family you trust. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
Which of us, detective, do you suspect is the millionaire?
The evidence is everywhere. Your diamond necklace, Monty's new yacht, and the butler's new convertible. Admit it, you're all Maximilian scratch-off winners.
Of course we are. With 25 prizes of $1 million, you could be too.
New Maximilian from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 2.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, Greater Triangle area. Chick-fil-A wants to invite you to enjoy an iced tea on us in the Chick-fil-A app. Join us this week, March 10th to the 15th, to get your reward for a free iced tea by downloading or signing into your Chick-fil-A app with location services on in the Greater Triangle area. Redeem when you order through the Chick-fil-A app at a participating Greater Triangle area Chick-fil-A restaurant from open to close. Offer subject to availability. Rewards are single use only. Limit 1 per person per Chick-fil-A 1 account. See further details in the app.
The future depends on teachers who are reinventing the classroom and starting their students on journeys that will change the course of history. Shape the future. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. ¿Vos está pronto?
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at babbel.com, BABBEL.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
I think that Florida State got more than what they pitched. 2 years ago, they started to bring up the idea of revenue distribution essentially based on television ratings. Now they are getting even more. With the exit fee dropped as well, thrown onto it, I think Florida State's a big winner in the sense that they got even more, which might tell you either how uncomfortable the ACC had gotten with just dealing with this or its legal position.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. Hurricanes and the Detroit Red Wings tonight at Lenovo Center. Then the Canes are on the road in Philadelphia tomorrow.
Do you know that the Red Wings have Peter Mrazek now?
Yes,
Again?
they do.
Again?
They do. I would almost hope that Mrazek plays tonight.
I hope so too.
For Detroit, they added goaltending depth. They have 3 NHL goaltenders on their roster right now. Carolina carried 3 goaltenders a lot last year, but they have 3 goalies on their roster right now. We'll see who plays. Last time we played, I believe it was another former Hurricane, Alex Lyon, got the start in that one. He played very well.
Yeah.
And he is a very, very good, albeit smallish goaltender, and I would say the same thing about Peter Mrazek. Speaking of the Hurricanes, later this hour, you'll hear from the head coach, Brind'Amour, not only on what's gone right, and I have a joking suggestion for him regarding the power play. I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask him, just send out the penalty kill.
I'd find the line.
Just send that out.
Find the line. Why not?
Right? Stahl and Martinook first and 2 defensemen.
Why not?
Don't even send a 5th guy.
Nah, we don't need it.
Just send 4.
Nope.
My gosh. It's so bad. All right, let's start this whole thing over again. We'll go to a couple of different places. If we have time here, we'll talk hoops. We're going to talk hoops with Rob Dauster of Field of 68 coming up in about a little less than 15 minutes. First, before we get to hoops, Michael Lombardi, who is the general manager from USA Football, still does his weekly hits with Pat McAfee. And Pat asked, hey, how are things going at UNC?
UNC's great. We're excited. We got a basketball game today. Hopefully our men's team can get into the tournament with a win against Wake Forest if they can keep going. Our women's team is going to host a couple games, which I'm really excited about. I'll go watch them play. So, and our baseball team, Pat, you got to come down and sit out in the outfield one of these. The baseball team is great. So,
I mean,
life is good here. Life is good at Chapel Hill.
Lacrosse team too, Lombo. You guys have got a great.
Thank you. Yeah. Both men and women's lacrosse.
You guys are stealing all the lacrosse.
They're poaching them.
That's what I'm saying. Did the men's lacrosse coach say, hey, we don't need all of our players playing on your football team? Okay, we understand.
No, the football general manager is saying we don't need to recruit just all lacrosse players.
We saw this from one of the basketball games last week. Look at the big dap. Hey, how we doing, boys?
We had a great weekend. We had a bunch of great players. That young man there is going to play for a state championship in basketball. He's one of the best basketball players in the state. Great football player. So there's a lot of great players we had there. We're really excited about it. And look, when you have the greatest coach of all time, people want to come spend time with him. You'd be shocked how you would love to sit in on those meetings when Bill's sitting there watching tape with a young player and showing them what they do when they're playing high school tape and then how they relate to the Patriot players of old. So it's a lot of fun. We're having a blast.
So real quick about that, if you're listening to what Michael Lombardi is saying, after we get through how excited he is to be going to all these school events. And look, UNC's got a great athletic department. They're good at just about everything.
Yeah.
And it is fun. Look, I've been at Boshemer. I've watched whether it's field hockey or women's lacrosse or men's lacrosse. I mean, I've seen all these things, whether it's on TV or in person. I mean, what aren't they good at? So that's also good. But then as he's going into, when you sit down with a high school kid and watch tape, and you watch their high school tape, think about the opportunity because this is I think one of the all-time great recruiting tools. Now, there's a lot more to it nowadays. You've got to have, the backings of the collectives and all of that in order to make it work, and we're going to speak about that in a minute. But think about the opportunity to watch film and learn the game and how to become better at the game by watching film with Bill Belichick.
I mean, I would do that, and I'm not even going to play.
Same here. I would like. I've joked about this before, and I'm only half joking. I thought cover zero is when you don't cover anybody.
It makes sense.
Right? It does.
Cover
right?
zero. Cover no one.
I'm just using logic here.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to be able to sit and watch film with Bill so he could explain to me why this person does this and this person does that in specific situations. What an unbelievable education that would be. And for these players to get that would be awesome. Absolutely awesome. So think about that as a recruiting tool. All right. And I said collectives earlier. And collectives are everything. I don't remember who said it yesterday or the day before on Twitter, and it was in relation to NC State, and that you don't need the collectives as much with revenue sharing coming. And I think that is fundamentally incorrect, because with revenue sharing, that's great, and the schools are going to provide a lot of money, initially to players. And that money will likely increase over time as revenues increase. But the collectives aren't going away. The collectives are still going to be there. So schools that have no problem offering, anywhere from $15 to $22 million in revenue sharing to athletes, those schools will also be supplemented by those collectives that can provide things above and beyond, whether it's through straight NIL or it's through direct payments to athletes, and which may or may not be the same thing. So UNC, NC State, they're all going to need it. We'll get to that. Just put a pin in that real quick. For a lot of NC State fans, it is Will Wade or bust. He is currently the head coach at McNeese State. He went on with Jeff Goodman last night, field of 68. We're actually going to talk to Rob in a minute. And he was asked by Goodman whether, would he leave? What would it take? what he'd look for in another school if he did.
It's simple in my book. I absolutely love it here. These people gave me a new lease on life, basketball coaching life, not metaphorically speaking here, but it's been incredible. It's been absolutely incredible. I've never had the support, just everybody just supporting and in the same direction as we have here. My standard to leave, and I'm not telling you anything I haven't told Heath and my president, Dr. Roos. If I leave here, it's going to be for somewhere that I feel like we can win the national championship or compete for a national championship. If I don't think that the resources are there to compete for a national championship, I don't think that, resources meaning staff, meaning NIL, all the stuff that goes with it, and obviously, we want to be in a multi-bid league. But look, I love it here. I'm not just going to run at the first thing that's running down the tracks. I don't want to keep popping around and moving. I want to put down some roots and be somewhere for an extended period of time.
So, all right, that's great, right? That's awesome. Does NC State fit that? So they've raised a little bit of NIL money since the dismissal of Kevin Keats, but not a lot. So if you want Will Wade, there's got to be a commitment financially, and then he has to decide whether or not can we win a national championship at NC State. Yes, they have won two. So the theory is you can. They did get to a Final Four last year. A little bit of a fluke, a little bit, lot, 100%. But is this a place you can do that? So, look, I'm not editorializing. I'm simply, these were Will Wade's criteria. Also, he did say that anywhere he goes, his plan is to make it a long stay. So, if you're NC State and you want Will Wade, I think you know what you've got to do. You've got to convince the deep pockets to empty them for basketball. We'll see if that happens. But look, Will Wade is definitely the most sought after coach in this cycle right now. He's the guy. If you are going, deep sea fishing, he's the one you want to get. He is the Blue Marlin. All right, when we come back, Rob Dauster, Field of 68. He is in Charlotte. We'll talk about Duke and UNC. They will play this evening, 7 o'clock. Clemson and Louisville, a pretty good ACC semifinal for Rob and company. We'll talk to Rob Dauster next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Svechnikov, tick-tack tied in Carolina on the man advantage.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Save it, rebound! Game over! Sebastian Aho gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
The Dugout Tavern and Grill is the #1 sports bar in Apex and your March Hoops headquarters. Stars of our games, fill out a bracket to win big prizes from New Belgium Brewing, $5 Modelo on game days, daily drink specials, and late night buy one, get one half-off appetizers. We've got a 16-foot video wall and over 30 other big screen 4K TVs inside and out with state-of-the-art sound always on so you can catch all the hoops action at the Dugout, 1413 Kelly Road, Apex, and thedugouttavern.com.
Global Golf is Carolina's largest pre-owned golf store. March 14th and 15th, you're invited to the 2-day sidewalk sale. This Friday and Saturday, don't miss huge deals like drivers starting at $50, name brand apparel starting at $25, shoes starting at $40, and golf bags of all kinds starting at $50. You're invited to the Global Golf Retail Store sidewalk sale, located on 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh. Global Golf, home of the best deals in golf.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Hello, Creighton Blackwell here at Coastal Credit Union 99.9 The Fan, and we're here to celebrate yet another Scholar Athlete. This month, we're at Middle Creek High School, where we celebrate our newest Scholar Athlete of the Month, Kristen Norton.
My parents have always been there for me. And then my teammates, they really helped me with like the mental part of it. So they really helped like bring me up when like I make mistakes or something and just keep me like grounded.
She's just a great person. She's a great leader by example and also vocally.
She's just that type of person. It doesn't matter what the situation is, anything that can help the team. She's a great young lady.
It's amazing to have on the team. She's a really good role model and a leader on the team.
She's always first to step in and try something new to help the team.
What does winning this award mean to you?
It just means that like all my hard work has like really shown. Some days I'm like, what have I done? Like, what have I accomplished? But getting this was like, people have actually seen my improvements and my accomplishments. So it's good. It's really good. Yeah.
Congratulations, Kristen.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
This St. Patrick's Day weekend, let's keep our community safe from drunk driving. If you celebrate a little too much, don't rely on the luck of the Irish. Use a rideshare or designated driver. From your friends at 99.9 The Fan and Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
The next disaster is coming. Make a plan. Keep extra medication on hand. Make copies of important documents. Stay informed and be ready. Learn more at americares.org/send-us-in.
Gold.
Some of the best trades ever made are the ones you don't make. Again, I'm sure that there are tons of stories like that.
Kind of like a relationship. Sometimes the best ones are the ones that you didn't go out with. Like that person that you tried to, and then you see them 10 years later and you're like, ooh, dodged a bullet.
So you sound like you've been there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Duke and Carolina tonight, 7 o'clock for the third time this year. They will play. For the first time, they will not have Cooper Flagg. They had Malik Brown for both of the first two as well, but they do not have either tonight. Will it matter? Rob Dauster, Field of 68, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Happens to be in Charlotte. I actually didn't know until I texted him. I'm like, wait a second, I thought I might have seen that. Man, you guys got a pretty good semifinal docket there with Duke Carolina Part 3 and then Clemson and Louisville on the other side, although both schools tried to make that a little bit more worrisome than maybe they needed to. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I think we have what could end up being one of the best days of college basketball we have seen in a long, long time on tap, especially this evening, man. If you go look at what's happening between 6:30 and midnight tonight, it's absolutely insane. There's 12 games that on like any given day would be the best game of the day, and we got 12 of them in one night. They're on TVs.
And I guess the only difference is that in most, actually, I'm looking at the schedule because, by the way, I went to Rob Dauster on Twitter, and that's the schedule. And the only team I think that will have trouble maybe making the NCAA tournament with a loss, and I think you can make arguments that other teams are also involved, is North Carolina. This is the conversation that we're having here. Does UNC need this game tonight to make the field?
I think that they do. I think that they have to win this because there's going to be other teams that are going to find a way to improve their resume. You know, Colorado State is still alive. Boise State is still alive. There are still two teams in the Big West that have an opportunity to get into the NCAA tournament. I don't think that you want to mess around if you are North Carolina. And this is shaping up for like a best-case scenario for them, right?
Yeah.
Because Duke doesn't have Cooper Flagg, who is the best player in college basketball. They don't have Malik Brown, who was the guy that changed the game the last time that you played them. They're missing two of their big pieces up front that make them versatile and switchable and can cause problems defensively. And I think, you know, with the way that North Carolina wants to play offensively with the ball screens and the guards that they have, being able to kind of run a little bit of offense will make it easier for them. So this is the opportunity. If you want to be in the tournament, you have to go out and win this game. You might be able to back in. You might get lucky. Maybe the selection committee sits there and says, hey, you know what? We have this massive brand in North Carolina. We have this massive brand in Indiana. And you know what would be cool? Seeing them play each other in Dayton. That's going to get a lot of eyeballs on TV. And I'm not going to lie, there's probably a good chance that ends up happening. Because if you're there's 12 people in a room, and if they're trying to decide what's best for college basketball, who are you going to put on? North Carolina or Boise State? Sorry, Boise State, I love you, but that's just the truth.
It'd be like,
but if you're North Carolina, you have a chance to win and you're in. Like, you can do this yourself. If you win, you are going to be dancing if you're North Carolina.
Be 11 national championships on the court in the first four? Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a lot of fun, right? Like, I think we get that every once in a while, these insane, like, wasn't it in 2021 we had UCLA and Michigan State playing the first four, and then UCLA ended up making the Final Four? Every once in a while, you get these awesome matchups in the first four between these two massive brands. And it's not like they need any help selling out that building in Dayton, but you will absolutely sell out that building in Dayton if you have Carolina and Indiana there.
Yeah, True TV will get the greatest television ratings they have ever gotten. Rob Dauster.
Hey, let's show some respect to Impractical Jokers, okay? That's a great show.
That is, I apologize for the disrespect to Impractical Jokers, which I should remember because I see it. I see the promos incessantly during March Madness. Rob Dauster is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, now Duke without Cooper Flagg. Somebody asked me before, should Carolina get credit for a quad one win? And I'm like, Duke's got two other lottery picks on the court. Of course, they'd be a top 25 team without Cooper Flagg. So obviously they change. But did they change that much? Because it really looks like John Shire just put Con Knipple in the number 2 jersey and basically ran their offense through him.
Yeah, look, Con is my hottest take about what's going to happen with Cooper Flagg out is in these next two games, Con Knipple's going to prove to people why he's projected as like a lottery pick, right? He's so big, he's so strong. He's so smart. He's so under control. And I think what we're just going to see is him kind of ball screen you to death with Con and with Common Malawach and kind of the way that they play together. I think we're going to see the best of Con Knipple here. And to be frank, even without Cooper Flagg, I just think that the size and length and athleticism is just going to be too much from Duke today. The big question is going to be, how motivated are they, right? Like, what does an ACC tournament championship mean to Duke? Because if you're not playing with your best player or a guy that's so important to you defensively, and you're going up against a team that it's literal life and death. Well, not literal life and death, but it's tournament life and tournament death for North Carolina tonight. So I do think that when you're in a rivalry game, that does play a factor. So beating a team 3 times in a season is hard. I think Duke is, an 8.5-point favorite, and rightfully so, even without Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing for Duke is, like, do they actually care about this? Or are they just going out there and saying, look, I don't want what happened to Cooper or Malik to happen to me? Right.
Okay, so here's where I don't know if you agree with this or if you guys have talked about it this way or not. The way I have observed Duke, especially since the loss at Clemson, is that they have taken every single game seriously. And I think they want everything. That's why I thought going into the Smith Center last week, I know everybody thinks Duke doesn't need it, but they did. They played like they needed it. They didn't necessarily play great, but they played hard, and they played a lot of that first half without Cooper Flagg, and the Tar Heels were great, especially in the last 6 or 7 minutes of that half, and then Duke just put their foot on the accelerator. I think they want everything, and without Flagg, I think they'll go harder. I really do. So whether they win the game or not, I think Duke will play this game absolutely to win. I think they want everything.
I agree with that too. Like there's something different about these Duke guys. Like they're robots, man.
Yeah.
We used to say this. We used to have a joke about Villanova players when they were kind of at the peak of their powers. How there's like it's almost like they have no personality, right? They're these cyborgs that are specifically programmed to go out there and win basketball games, and that's the only thing that matters is them winning basketball games. And I feel like that's what this Duke team is. You know, does Con Knipple have any hobbies? Do you think he has any? You think he does? Like, do you think when he goes home, he's like, I'm going to go throw on Netflix, or he goes home and is like, I'm going to go grind some film of my last practice to make sure that I got the understanding of this defensive rotation better. So I tend to agree with you. I think that this ends up, to me, coming to this tournament was kind of always going to be a Duke coronation, and if they're able to win it and beat Carolina and to beat either Louisville or Clemson without Cooper Flagg, it is the coronation that we expected.
Rob Dauster, Field of 68, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Just a few more minutes, then we'll let you go. The obviously Duke's number one seed is not in question here. Even it would be an excuse, really, that the committee would, whether or not Duke would use it. I don't think they would, but the committee could use it and give Duke a number one seed, even if they were to lose today to UNC. But the rest of the league, like Carolina, could get in, and I think it's a very small chance, maybe a 10% chance that they get in without a win over Duke. But I think they could get in. To me, they're the only other team that would even warrant even a consideration. This is historically the worst I've ever seen this league. And they've had 3 out of when it was 9. They've had 3 of 9 get in before. But this is 3 of 17. I can't believe 3 of 18. I can't believe what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, we just released our latest bracket now, and I'm looking at it, and we have North Carolina in the field today as the last team in, playing Xavier in the first 4, with San Diego State and Indiana as the other teams in the first 4. But you are right, and I think part of it is that it was inevitable that there was eventually going to be a little bit of turnover here because Tony Bennett was not acclimating to what college basketball was going to be moving forward, right? And Jim Larinaga looked like he was kind of on the way out, and Larry Hamilton was on the way out, and Jay Boeheim. Like, you had a lot of guys that were legends of the game that were also much older than a lot of the young guys that are currently making it work right now in the portal. So I think that a little bit of turnover was going to be inevitable, and I think some of this is cyclical. But the other problem is that now you've kind of gotten yourself behind the 8 ball a little bit, and you got to go catch up against Big Ten and SEC programs that have a ton of money to fund basketball. You got to go against someone like, let's just take VCU for an example, right? Because Ryan Odom's been connected with like seemingly every single open job that exists on planet Earth. And there's a real chance that VCU has comparable, if not more, NIL available to them than Virginia does this year, because they don't have to worry about football. And they've got a huge fan base, and they care about nothing other than basketball. I think it's one of the largest schools. Like, I think there's like something like 42,000 undergrads there because it's a commuter school.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in the city of Richmond loves VCU, and that's all they care about is hoops. So if you're Ryan Odom and you can get more money at VCU, and you know that you're going to be one of the best programs there, and you're looking at going to a league where the 4th place team is on the bubble versus the A-10 where the 3rd place team is on the bubble, then why wouldn't you want to be at the best job in your conference instead of having to deal with Duke and eventually North Carolina and Pat Kelsey and Louisville and Brad Vernell apparently getting Clemson going again? Like, there's a very real argument for Ryan Odom that VCU is a better basketball job in 2025 than Virginia is. And that's kind of what you're going to run up against. If you're not going to spend – it doesn't matter if you can recruit. I said this the other day. It doesn't matter how good of a recruiter you are, how good of an evaluator you are, if you can identify who really good players are. If you don't have the money to pay them, none of that matters, right? The recruiting right now is, okay, what's your offer? All right, well, if you add $100,000 to it, then you know what, you might be able to get us because we got this coming from this program.
Right.
There are schools right now, like these negotiations have been going on for a month. You've got to have the money available to spend. And if you don't have the resources, and I'm not talking about coach's salary, I am talking about NIL spending and budget and rev share. If you don't have that, you don't have a chance because the SEC is just going to funnel money to basketball because they are good at it now. And the Big Ten cares about basketball as much as anybody, and those programs have so much money to spend. That is where you're going to run into trouble, is that you went through this little cyclical change, but it happened at a time when there was a drastic change in how college basketball operates.
All right, let me ask you one more question, and then we'll let you go. Rob Dauster, Field of 68, because I watched the clip of Will Wade on with Jeff Goodman yesterday. At least one of those gentlemen was good looking. Your thoughts on State's chance to land Will Wade?
Well, first of all, I love the I know that was a subtle dig at Goodman. I love the subtle dig at Goodman because there's nothing better than subtle digs at Jeff Goodman.
It wasn't very subtle, to be honest, but that's fine.
I'm not really. Yeah, it wasn't at all. It was just straight up taking a shot at them, which is even better. The thing with NC State and Will Wade, like it's not. I feel like we all kind of know what the situation is, right? If Will Wade goes to NC State, in my mind, he is the perfect hire because NC State is kind of that underdog. He's kind of an underdog. He's going to be more than happy to metaphorically and maybe literally give the finger to the other rivals that are within his state. He's going to love nothing more than beating them and rubbing their faces in it. And the dude could coach ball. He gets players and he gets talent and he finds a way to make talent win basketball games. And I think he operates a little bit better at a program that is kind of on the margins than maybe at a blue blood, just because of I got to know him a little bit. We had him in our event in South Dakota, and Will Wade is he does not give a F. You thought I was going to curse.
That's fine.
Curse, he doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't care at all. And I think that he would fit really well there, and I think the fan base would embrace him. But it is something where an athletic director that has come up in the world of the NCAA where there's certain rules, and you have a guy that did not follow those rules very clearly, I understand how it can be a little bit difficult to bring him on in a moment like that. So that's a long-winded way of saying I understand why there is hesitation from the administration side. I also understand why the money people are sitting here saying, you know what, we want that guy because we want to win. And I'll put a ball on it with this. If you are NC State and you really want to get out there and win at the level that you want to win, put together a package where you'll be able to provide the resources that you need to be able to make Will Wade not say no. You don't let him say no. That's what I would do if I was the North Carolina State AD, if I was Boo Corrigan, if I was in his shoes. I would find a way to make it work where Will Wade has to say yes to the strong-ass offer that I put on.
Fantastic. Way to work that in. And Rob, thank you so much for the time. At Rob Dauster on Twitter, Field of 68, every night. They're all over the place. My gosh, I don't know how many videos you guys do a day, but live pods and video, just tons of stuff. I appreciate your time. Best to you and even Jeff.
Always a pleasure, man. And no, don't say no nice things about Jeff on this program.
Good point. Very good point. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon. Rob's got a lot of cool stuff coming up today. Again, he is in Charlotte. We're gonna talk to Brind'Amour here in just a couple of minutes. So real quick, two things that my biggest takeaways from that. One, I'm not alone about thinking that UNC needs to win. Is there a chance they get in without a win? Sure, there's a chance. They played an incredible schedule. Their record looks good, but we're still sitting here today with UNC having just 6 wins against top 100 teams and only 2 wins against teams that will be in the field, UCLA and American, who is likely to be one of the automatic qualifiers playing in the first 4. They don't really have a resume that puts you in the NCAA tournament. They do, however, have the committee chairman named Bubba Cunningham. And they do have their name across the front of their uniform. And while it shouldn't matter, I think we would all be naive to think that it plays zero role. A wise person once told me, well, it is ultimately a television show and an entertainment product, and television ratings matter. And while I don't think it would give them, put them in front of somebody, like somebody you were behind, but now you're in front because it says North Carolina, I don't think that it would be crazy to think that it could be used as these two teams are tied. So let me just point out this, and then we'll, and I guess we haven't even gotten to Will Wade yet, real quick. Xavier has a very similar profile to UNC. Incredibly similar. They're 2-9 against Quad 1. And not a lot of difference between 2-9 and 1-11. They are 9-11 against Quad 1 plus Quad 2, same as Carolina. And I think that if you also include the fact that Carolina's non-conference schedule included Alabama, Auburn, Michigan State, Florida, 2 teams that'll be on the 1 line, 2 teams that'll be on the 2 line, I think you see just how you can make a case for UNC over Xavier. With that said, it's hard to make a case for him over anybody else. But North Carolina might matter. The other thing there was Will Wade, and sounds to me like if State wants him, they know what they got to do, which, based on my conversations, that's what it has been, I guess, framed as for me, is that if NC State wants Will Wade, he'd come. Ball's in your court. Pack of Wolves, whatever the collectives are called. It's not really a world I delve into all that much, but it seems that if the boosters want that guy, they know what they have to do, because it is going to come from boosters. All right. Big game tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes, so why not spend a couple of minutes with head coach Rod Brind'Amour? Your team has won 5 in a row. Last 2 against 2 of the best teams in the league as well. So what has pleased you about what you have watched over the last couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, obviously the results. I mean, that's what the business we're in is result business. So you're always about winning games, and I like the energy, and I think we've really played pretty solidly all around. And nice to see us get some goals, that maybe was tough to come by there for a stretch, but just overall, I think everyone's contributing, and that's the key.
I'm going to ask you about a specific goal in a second. But to the last 2 games, you talk about goals. It's first time since December you've scored 4 goals in back-to-back games. It's hard to be as good as you guys have been without that. I mean, do you look back on that and go, I'm surprised we're where we are in the standings at all?
Well, I think what it's telling you that we're doing a lot of good things, and we have been all year. Certain areas of our game have been pretty solid, and that's generally limiting chances and shots to the net, and we've done a pretty good job of that. And so you can win those low-scoring games if your offense isn't maybe humming along like you'd like or scoring on the chances. So that has to be a staple for us, and I think it has been really all year.
All right. When asked after the game by the ESPN crew, Seth Jarvis, they asked him, how do you describe the locker room? And Seth said, togetherness. Do you think everything that has happened has galvanized this group and brought them even closer?
I imagine. I mean, I think it's just the natural kind of turn of events and the way things kind of played out, and more so like the noise outside. I think we were always a pretty tight group, but I think they've rallied around it, knowing that now. I think now just knowing this is the group, I think that helps too. Like there's no more speculation and guys going here or there and all that stuff. So that's all behind us, and now you got your group, and you better be together because that's all you got.
How has Seth grown as a player over the last, 3 years, really?
Yeah, well, he's certainly rounded out, right? Like, I think when he first showed up, we knew he could skate and had that offensive flair, but I don't think he really had a lot of details to the defensive side of the game, and I think he's really picked that up. As you see, he's just a well-rounded hockey player, and he's also matured, I think, as a human being. I think he's pretty comfortable in his skin right now, and he's certainly a huge part of our group.
How do you mature like he has as a player, and he clearly takes his job seriously, but also blend that with the personality that he's got, which is he's just a laugh a minute for me. How does he do? How do you blend those two things?
Well, I think the room, when you have guys that have allowed our young guys that when they come into the room, not just feel welcome, but let them be themselves, right? I think that's huge. I think that's a big change in the last many years, where it used to be the young guys came in and you kept your mouth shut and just kind of tried to get by, and now everybody's welcoming, and you want those guys to kind of show their personalities because then they'll play better and feel more comfortable. And I think that's just a testament more to the guys and them allowing each guy to be who they are.
I said I was going to ask you about a goal. You downplay a lot of things, and that's fine. I mean, I get it. We don't want to get too high or too low, but when Seth scored that goal against that goalie, what was your reaction on the bench?
Oh, wow, that's a world-class goal. He's not like you said. I mean, put it where he put it, and speed he used to come in, and the skill to go under the stick. I mean, there's a lot going into that goal that maybe a lot of people don't realize. But that's a handful of players in the league can pull that off, and obviously we're lucky we got one of them.
Have you tried threats to the power play units? Have you tried? Isolation, dark rooms. What can we do here?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, we got to get I'll take the heat on this. Like, I got to get consistent with the group. So we're changing it up again today, and we'll probably change it again because Fesh is out. So when he comes back in, in the past, I look back even last year where I think we were top 5 all year. You knew what the units were going out, and they knew what spot they were in, and because each spot you have a certain responsibility. And right now we're kind of bouncing guys in and out, with the personnel, because we've had some changeover and trying to find where they fit on the power play best. And then so there's been that kind of I say not consistency, which is what you need on a power play. So we got to find that here in the next little while, so we can really take advantage of that time on the ice.
Just send out your shorthanded unit.
Yeah. Well, that's what we do. Actually, we do send those guys out.
but only send.
Decide not to score.
Just send 4 of them out.
Yeah. No, you might be right, but no, we've been pretty unfortunate when it was going good. We had a good stretch. I think when we were getting a lot of opportunities, we just didn't go in the net. And then there's going to be times when it's not great. I mean, that's part of it. But I think we just got to, retool here. And, I mean, every game starts the same. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. So we just got to focus on that.
All right, real quick, the injury. Svechnikov, you say, is already out. Orlov, is he back in?
Yeah. I think he's out, too. He skated this morning, and he may, I think he's if not tonight, probable for tomorrow, and then I would say for sure when we get going on that trip.
Are you concerned about Svechnikov beyond tomorrow?
I wasn't, but I can't really speak for the player, so we'll see. Hopefully, he heals up quick. We do have some time off after the Saturday, a few days, and then it just the games just come the rest of the way. So hopefully he'll be ready to go.
All right, good luck against the Red Wings.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
I told you that I was going to suggest that for Carolina's next power play, we simply sent out the shorthanded unit.
We should do it.
Slavin, Burns, Stahl, Martinook, go.
I like it.
That's it.
I know.
We declined the power play. We're sending out a shorthanded unit. In fact, Detroit, you can keep 5 guys on the ice.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Is Mrazek in goal?
I do not know. I should be able to find out, and I will find out during the break. When we come back, we will stretch and place bets. Should I guarantee a Carolina Hurricanes win tonight? A 6th in a row? Maybe. Next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
During the sports season, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
From the food we eat to the clothes we wear, agriculture touches every corner of our daily lives. I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agricultural Institute at NC State University. With the world's population growing, we need people equipped and trained to meet the needs of our future. In our program, we rise to meet that challenge every day, and our students are engaged and invested. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
Did you know, along with keeping their local communities powered, public power line workers are part of a mutual aid network spanning the state and country? Public power crews help their neighbors when natural disasters damage electric systems. And that mutual aid network is one of the reasons public power has the highest reliability rating among energy providers, forming a camaraderie among line workers that's second to none. Interested in joining public power? Learn more about careers at electricities.com.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Dear North Carolina, for 70 incredible years, you've been by our side. From Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood to the wonders of Antiques Roadshow, from this old house to NC Weekend, we've explored, learned, and grown together. Because of your support, PBS North Carolina has gone beyond the screen, inspiring, educating, and entertaining in classrooms, at home, and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
Going to college gives you more career options. You could say it pays for itself, but it might not feel that way in the short term, especially when tuitions do. That's where the FAFSA comes in. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. It's your gateway to money for college. Whether you're seeking scholarships, grants, work-study programs, or loans, it all starts with the FAFSA. So how about it? Make a plan for college and find everything you need for the FAFSA at cfnc.org.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people aged 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/aging to find your county's ombudsman.
Have you ever noticed how little things can make a big difference? Here's an idea. Why not greet everyone you see today with a big smile and a friendly, "How are you today?" Maybe this small gesture may turn around an otherwise bad day. You never know how much difference a friendly expression can make. Who knows? You just might make a new friend. In North Carolina, we have always taken pride in being kind to everybody. Little things do make a difference. Makes you feel better. Makes everyone around you feel better.
Gold. Gold.
Was the hug because of the soft, fuzzy thing you're wearing?
It's a comment. I'm a great hugger. People like to hug me. But yes, it's helpful when I'm soft and fuzzy.
Is that a skill?
It may be, yes.
I think it is a skill.
I think it is a skill.
Yeah.
You know who else gives really great hugs? Mike Meniscalco.
Really?
He is one of my favorite huggers. Yes. Every time I see him, he gives the best hugs.
I'm going to try that at the next home game.
Do it.
The Adam Gold Show.
I will not try that tonight.
No, not again.
I will not try that tonight.
Yeah. You said you mentioned it, right? Last time?
I know I did not. I did not mention it.
Okay.
And I saw Mike on Tuesday for the game against who did we just played Tuesday? Tampa.
Yes.
That was an ESPN Plus game. That was a 7:30 start.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick story about that is that I may have said this. I started the podcast. I'm like, man, why am I so late to the podcast? And then realized that the game started at 7:30 and not 7.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I forgot what time the game started. Anyway, the game starts tonight at 7.
Yeah.
But for those people who are listening now who are interested, for reasons, we'll just say reasons, no podcast tonight, podcast tomorrow.
Okay.
Promise.
There you go.
No podcast tonight after the game. We will have a podcast after the game against Philadelphia tomorrow night, whenever that game ends, plus the post-game show. Are we ready to stretch?
Let's do it. Okay, so if you happen to have, some G's laying around, money bags, maybe you place some really good bets, and you're really into March Madness, Samsung has the deal for you.
Okay.
Okay, so now they have a bundle called Buzzer Beater Bundle. Say that 5 times fast.
Buzzer Beater Bundle. Buzzer Beater
I
Bundle.
know.
Buzzer Beater Bundle. Buzzer Beater Bundle. Buzzer Beater Bundle.
Is
I
that
screwed
5?
up the first one.
You got through it, though. You needed the warm-up.
Yeah.
So with this, it is a deal that is for all the sports fanatics that basically want a sports bar in their house. So they are making this Buzzer Beater Bundle where it's got 8 screens, 8 televisions for you to put in a space. So this includes a 98-inch 4K TV, a 65-inch 8K TV, 3 65-inch 4K TVs, and 3 55-inch 4K TVs. They recommend you arrange them like a sports bar and have them all over the place. That way you can see them from every angle.
Like in one room?
I guess so.
How much does this cost?
So with that, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, it's only going to cost you about $10,000. $10,307.42 to be exact. Very precise.
That's reasonable for that number of televisions.
I know, and that's what they're saying because
who has a wall?
Yeah. A space.
Do you live in a movie theater?
I feel like this is good for someone who's got maybe a loft or something, or an upstairs space that's maybe 2 or 3 rooms.
If you have
together.
a pool and you have a cabana,
yes,
a large cabana by the pool.
Yes. Exactly.
No, this doesn't make any sense, but that's fine.
No, but they're trying to say that you save 30%.
You do.
Because if you bought all of these televisions individually, because you're crazy, this would cost you $6,000 more. So you'd be paying closer to $16,000-17,000 versus $10,000. So look, it's a deal. It does not include wall mounts or installation for all 10 TVs.
What are we doing?
Yes, which that costs about $200 a piece. So we're not done yet.
No, you're throwing that in. I promise.
Right.
If I had $10,000 to do that,
right,
you would be throwing in the what are you talking about?
Exactly.
Come on.
You should throw a case of beer in there too while you're at it. What are we doing?
I'll provide them beer.
Yeah,
you guys
right.
mount this.
Bring that over, and I'll have the beer and chicken wings. But this offer, it's a doozy. It's only lasting until March 22nd. So you only have so long until you can get that deal. But hey, who knows? Maybe you will place a great bet that we're about to tell you and win $10,000.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
Did I win anything yesterday? UNC cover? I said Duke wouldn't.
Maybe?
I don't remember
Not
what
sure
else
what
I did yesterday. I
the
think I
lines
did
were
the
set on.
three-way parlay.
Oh.
I had I think I had all the right winners.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Well, whatever, I don't
It's
know.
good units. So mine's going to be all over the board. We're going to cover a lot of bases because there is UFC this weekend. So I'm going to start with that one. The main event is going to be between Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. Marvin is, he's a scrapper. He's a submitter. And Roman is more of a knocker-outer. So I think Marvin is going to submit Roman Dolidze. That is plus 750.
When you said Marvin, I just automatically thought
Martian?
of the song Night Shift.
Oh.
Marvin, he was a friend of mine.
Oh, you go.
Literally, that just floated in my head.
Yeah. Hey, you never know.
Big fan of that song.
Right.
It's a great track.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with today's. We'll do the Clemson. We'll do the nightcap first. I like Clemson to beat Louisville. And I like over 140.5 at plus 240. I think that game's going to overtime.
Yeah.
Clemson and over 140.5 over Louisville.
All right, well, basketball. I'm going to make a basketball bet. So, Carolina up against Duke. I think Duke's going to win this one again. I'm going to take the under because they didn't even cover the 157 the last time they got together, and they don't have their big guys today. So, give me Duke and the under 152.5. That's plus 135.
All right, you are taking Duke just to win.
Yes.
Right? I will take Duke minus the 7.5 and under 152.5. And that's plus 215.
Oh, nice.
I think Duke will cover the 7.5.
Makes it a little extra juicy. Well, now on to hockey. So our Carolina Hurricanes, Hockey Night in Carolina, taking on the Red Wings. Give me an anytime goal scorer because worked for me last time with Seth Jarvis. So let's do it for Aho. Aho, anytime goal scorer, plus 125.
Why wouldn't you just go back to the train?
I know, but you got to spread the wealth.
Okay.
Maybe both of them will score.
Totally understand it. Canes minus a goal and a half. Over 5.5 is plus 192. I kind of like that. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, anytime goal scorer. Come on. It's been 12 games. Let's try to mix in a goal here. Plus 400. And I'm going to give you an NHL upset tonight. Calgary over Colorado. Plus 172. Yeah. Wall of sound coming up here from John Shire and Hubert Davis.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the Canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel. Here we are, Friday, ACC Tournament semifinals, and FanDuel is bringing you the Dog of the Day Profit Boost Token. This is the best part of all championship week. When we go for the upsets, and you can get a profit boost. If your underdog bet wins, we even juice it up a little bit more. Can the Tar Heels on the money line plus 240? Can they beat flagless Duke? Oh my gosh, this is the day. The app's easy to use, by the way. FanDuel.com/AdamGold, FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Dog of the day, go Heels. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager of at least plus 100 odds required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Which of us, detective, do you suspect is the millionaire?
The evidence is everywhere. Your diamond necklace, Monty's new yacht, and the butler's new convertible. Admit it, you're all Maximilian scratch-off winners.
Of course we are. With 25 prizes of $1 million, you could be too.
New Maximilian from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 2.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Shamrock. Everybody's Irish at Hibernian Pub's St. Patrick's Day celebrations. This year, there's double the Irish with 2 parties.
Come out for a wee drum.
Saturday, March 15th, Hibernian takes over Glenwood South from noon till 9 with live music, Irish dancers, bagpipers, and great food and drinks to celebrate all day. Then Monday, March 17th, there's a live DJ party on North Street next to Hibernian Pub on Glenwood from noon to 9. Get details at hibernianpub.com.
Welcoming you back to appointment day at the Martinez house. Raul Martinez looking stressed about scheduling a colon cancer screening, but he just pledged to get screened.
Stand Up to Cancer and Optum want to help you reduce your risk for cancer. Visit takeahealthystand.org.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I have come to expect the unexpected with the Pittsburgh Steelers, because if you asked me a year ago at this time how they would end up, or if they would end up with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, I would have laughed in your face. Things are quiet in Pittsburgh, or have been quiet since Justin Fields' acquisition, which makes me think that, Omar Khan is picking up the phone. He may be checking to see, hey, are the Colts willing to move Anthony Richardson? But at this point, it feels like their most 2 realistic options are Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, at least something that gets you to the 2026 draft class that has what appears to be a much stronger quarterback group.
It is the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Because I have deep, deep admiration and respect for Brooke Pryor, and that's who that was. I want the Pittsburgh Steelers to sign Aaron Rodgers. I do not think that it would go well in Pittsburgh. I don't. I don't think they will win any more games than they won with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, who, as it turns out, is about to be reunited with his college teammate Garrett Wilson. I had totally forgotten that. But I think that the circus that is Aaron Rodgers would shine a spotlight on how good Brooke is at her job. So what we all root for in this business, as I bring you in some ways behind the curtain, what we root for in this business is not, and we don't root for teams or players. We root for what makes our job more fun. And as long as she is not wrapped up in the outcome and I don't believe she is, nothing could be more interesting than covering Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh for 1 year, where Rodgers gives no bleeps about the future. My question, if and when the Steelers sign Rodgers, would be, do you have any trips to Egypt planned during training camp?
Mm-hmm.
First question. Just want to find out, are you going to, for one reason or another, be absent during during training camp? Because that was the least publicized FU to a football team ever.
Yes.
There's no way that the dates of training camp caught Aaron Rodgers by surprise. No way.
No, he's been doing this forever, too.
Let me show you who's boss.
Right.
The season was derailed, I believe, after that. And as a former and recovering Jets fan, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did. I feel bad because we talk to people who are Jets fans, and I feel bad because I wallow in that misery. It doesn't bother me. I enjoy miserable Jets. It's what they deserve. So I can't help it if you're a Jets fan. I just can't. Sorry. All right, let's do the wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
By the way, real quick, we haven't talked about it at all today. Akshay Bhatia, who is local to Raleigh, I think he went to Leesville. He has a share of the lead through 2 rounds of the Players' Championship. He and Minwoo Lee are both at 11 under par. Absolutely fascinating. All right, Will Wade, who NC State is hot to trot for. He is now the coach at McNeese State, was at LSU before that, was at VCU before that. Will Wade with Jeff Goodman, field of 68, on whether he'd ever leave where he's at, which is McNeese, and if he did, what would he be looking for in another school?
It's simple in my book. I absolutely love it here. These people gave me a new lease on life, basketball coaching life, not metaphorically speaking here, but it's been incredible. It's been absolutely incredible. I've never had the support, just everybody just supporting and in the same direction as we have here. My standard to leave, and I'm not telling you anything I haven't told Heath and my president, Dr. Roos. If I leave here, it's going to be for somewhere that I feel like we can win the national championship or compete for a national championship. If I don't think that the resources are there to compete for a national championship, I don't think that, resources meaning staff, meaning NIL, all the stuff that goes with it, and I league. But look, I love it here. I'm not just going to run at the first thing that's running down the tracks. I don't want to keep popping around and moving. I want to put down some roots and be somewhere for an extended period of time.
All right, real quick, I just realized multi-bid league, that eliminates the ACC and NC State, doesn't it? Kidding. I'm kidding. NC State, you know what's up. You know what the deal is. You want him? There you go. All right, Hubert Davis, North Carolina's head coach. They have won national championships, including, 2018? 2018 Carolina? No, 17. 17 Carolina. Somewhere in there. Hubert Davis, knowing that the NCAA tournament beckons, but having to deal first with Duke.
My communication with them in regards to the NCAA tournament has been zero. What is real for us is our improvement as a team. What is real for us has been the opponent right in front of us. Right now, it's playing Duke tomorrow at 7, and those are the things that we're focused on. I've always believed this from Coach Smith and Coach Guthridge. If you just focus on the preparation, the process in your play, everything else will take care of itself. And so that's where our focus is on, and I feel like we're getting better and we feel like we're improving.
Well, all of that is true, and I think that's the proper thing. You cannot think about the NCAA tournament. Your focus must be on Duke, and that would always be the case. Also, Duke without Cooper Flagg, and here's Hubert Davis on playing Duke.
Playing Duke it's an opportunity to play against the number one team in the country. Obviously, they're playing extremely well. We just played them last week on senior night on our home floor, and we're excited about the opportunity to be able to compete against them tomorrow night at 7.
That's it. Matter of fact. All right. John Shire on Cooper Flagg, the injury, and any temptation to play him.
He just came down, sprained his ankle. X-rays were negative, which is great. We just have to understand there's going to be swelling and to see how he recovers and how he goes from there. Look, to be honest with you, I would have to be convinced by everybody in the locker room when I go back that he should play. It's not worth it. It just isn't. And again, he was swollen already. It's not about being ready to go tomorrow. That's not the most important thing for us. We got to see if we can get him right for this run that we can make in the tournament. But I would have to be really convinced that we should even consider seeing if he can go tomorrow. And he may not be able to go anyway. He probably won't be able to go anyway. But I think it's a real long shot.
Yeah, he's not, no. All right, now, yesterday against Georgia Tech, without Flagg and without Brown, but really without Flagg, how much did they have to change in order to be effective offensively against Georgia Tech?
Well, a lot. A lot of our actions are for him. Right. And so, we know, Khan's scoring punch. And to win without Cooper and then Tyrese, really. Tyrese has been such an important scorer for us, too. So to win without those two guys necessarily having big scoring games, I think is just a great lesson for us. You have to grind and find a way. And we did that.
Yeah, they were, Con Knippel had 28. Isaiah Evans came off the bench to make 4 threes. He was 4 of 8 from three-point range. I think he had 14 points. So my guess is you'll see Isaiah Evans draw into the starting lineup, and Duke will obviously be smaller. They're big anyway, but they won't have Cooper Flagg, and they won't be able to use Malik Brown. So their bigs are really just 2 now. They have 4 options going into any game, but now they've got 2, and you'll see obviously a ton of Kaman Malawak, and you'll also see Patrick Gongba. And after that, that's it. I don't think they're getting the walk-ons. So it's going to be a steady diet of a bunch of guys who are between 6'6" and 6'8". Can they still beat North Carolina? Yeah. All right. A supersized, not in terms of numbers, but in terms of status, Roundtable. I'll be honest, when I heard who the Roundtable was today, I went, oh boy.
That's always my goal.
Oh boy. Very excited. Next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Let the madness begin.
Move it down low, gets the bucket and draws the foul.
We're on the road with the ACC Tournament.
RJ Davis triple, count it! Oh, yeah.
All the hoops action will be heard here.
Withers, a 3 for the lead, yes!
The road to San Antonio is driven by WakeMed, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
You've been to all those fancy driving range experiences, but you need closer to the real thing. Adam Gold here. What you need is X Golf in Cary. High-end simulator play. Food, drinks, fun, maybe even a date night, even serious competition. Buddy of mine plays in a league there, and he loves it. Memberships are available, all levels of player, all ages. North Carolina's premier indoor golf experience, and there is a PGA professional on site. Online, playxgolf.com/Cary. Playxgolf.com/Cary.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?
Sorry, we can't fix it. Take it to Dauntless.
This year, skip the middleman and take your car straight to Dauntless Transmissions if you want quality work done right the first time. Transmissions, engine, or brake work, or just a regular tune-up. If it's broke, Dauntless will fix it. For quality work done with the kind of experience that works for you, take it to Dauntless Transmissions first. Go to DauntlessTransmissions.com to book your visit today. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Looking for the perfect kitchen, bath, or flooring? At Home Outlet, we don't just promise the guaranteed lowest price, we back it up.
Yeah, but how low are we talking?
We'll beat any competitor's price by 10%.
That's wow. But okay, what makes your store better?
Funny you should ask. We're 100% employee owned. Everyone here has a stake in making your home projects affordable and stress-free.
So I'm getting expert advice, unbeatable prices, and I'm supporting employees who actually care?
Exactly. Why shop anywhere else? Home Outlet, kitchens, baths, floors, and more at the guaranteed lowest price. Visit us at homeoutlet.com today.
Struggling to get the sleep treatment you need? I'm Megan Giggling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. You shouldn't have to wait for better sleep. Our streamlined process provides for sleep studies, CPAP machines, and supplies, without the long delays you'll find at other sleep centers. At Parkway Sleep, we'll help you get good rest faster and with the care you deserve.
With over 20 years of experience, join countless satisfied customers who have discovered the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
The Dugout Tavern and Grill is the #1 sports bar in Apex and your March Hoops headquarters. Stars of our games, fill out a bracket to win big prizes from New Belgium Brewing, $5 Modelo on game days, daily drink specials, and late night buy one get one half off appetizers. We've got a 16-foot video wall and over 30 other big screen 4K TVs inside and out with state-of-the-art sound always on, so you can catch all the hoops action at the Dugout, 1413 Kelly Road, Apex, and the DugoutTavern.com.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry, I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, oh, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
See? I am. I can't hide it. I couldn't hide it before. Went to commercial break and I said how much I was excited by this. All right, it is time. It is a Friday. We bounce many topics around with two of our favorites. I can't wait.
Camelot. It's only a model.
And I know how Brett Friedlander was feeling as I went to break with that kind of tease. Brett was like, he's not talking about me, and that's not true. I am always super excited when Brett Friedlander, Saturday Down South, joins us on the Roundtable at Be Freed ACC. Always super excited when Brett joins. And today, and I don't know if Brett even knows, David Teel is with us. What legend. David Teel at by David Teel. So we are you and I, Brett, we're okay. We are in the presence of greatness.
We are.
David Teel, how you doing?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
It's the best we could do with an introduction. All right, let's talk about today, but let's talk about yesterday first. And I'll start with you, David. Your thoughts when you saw Cooper Flagg go down?
You're just holding your breath.
Right.
And it's an you-know-what moment. Because, I mean, let's be honest here. We're all selfish. We all want to see the young man play. It's a generational talent. I mean, somebody asked me the other day, are you going home after Virginia and Virginia Tech lost? And I'm like, hell no. I have a front row seat to see Cooper Flagg play basketball. I'm not going home. I love my wife and child. And my wife would look at me like I had three heads if I even mentioned coming home.
That is true. I remember because I had already transitioned to covering hockey exclusively. So I did not see Zion Williamson play in person once during the regular season. But for that Saturday of the ACC tournament in the quarterfinals, when they play, I think it was the quarterfinals, I think either the quarters or the semis, when they played Syracuse, I was sure to be there, and I sat underneath the basket. And, man, I just marveled in layup lines. I have not seen Cooper Flagg in person. Brett, I mean, same question for you, but let me just kick it forward to kind of throw another part of this subject in here. If he can't go, I mean, he's not going to play tonight. There's no way Jon Scheyer's playing him tonight. But let's say he can't play next week in the NCAA tournament. How does that change the way you think about Duke long term?
Okay, first of all, let's go to my first thoughts when I saw him go down, because I flashed back to 2015 and John Henson getting hurt on basically the first possession of the game against Maryland in Atlanta. And that really set in wheels the motion that just kind of derailed North Carolina's national championship hopes. And then, of course, Kendall Marshall broke his hand a little later.
Oy.
But that was the first thing I thought about is, oh, God, here we go again. As far as long-term implications if he's out, I don't necessarily think that this is the end for Duke. I think Duke wins this tournament anyway, even without him, just because there's too much talent. You saw Con Knipple yesterday morph himself into Cooper Flagg by going for 28, 5, 8, and 2. But they can't win the next tournament without him. That having been said, I remember, and we're going to throw another UNC reference in there, when Ty Lawson had the big toe injury, missed the ACC championship game, didn't play the first game against LSU or whoever they played, and he came in against LSU. And so if Cooper Flagg can't play the first week, but it means he'll be close to 80%, 90% by the week 2, I think Duke still can win it. So we'll have to wait and see. But you're right. If Jon Scheyer lets that kid play either today or tomorrow, he should have his head examined, because beyond the implications on Cooper Flagg's future, Duke doesn't need him right now. They need him in the next tournament. And, getting him hurt now to cut down a net that really doesn't matter is not worth it. And he actually said that much yesterday.
And he did. I'm going to go back to David on this, because in many ways, like, we can quibble with voting all we want for the all-ACC teams. But in many ways, the way Duke has played over the last, 4 months, but specifically since the loss at Clemson, this is why I voted for Jon Scheyer. It isn't the fact that Duke was 19-1. It was how they were 19-1. And I know they're better than everybody. They're even better than the team that beat them. They're better than Clemson, and Clemson beat them down there. It's the way they go about it. They take nothing for granted. They take no opponent lightly, and like they don't always play great. They didn't play great yesterday. They competed, but I just think that the way that they are playing, they can win this tournament. I agree with Brett that I think they will win this tournament without Cooper Flagg. But that's why I voted for John Shire. I think it's about the process, which leads to the production. Just your thoughts on that element of the way Duke is going about their business.
Well, Adam, and the process goes beyond just the last 4 months. It was the construction of this roster,
yeah,
and how he envisioned it. Who else among the elite college basketball programs was pining for Sion James out of Tulane?
Right.
And he's become, this indispensable part on both ends of the floor. He's a terrific defender. He knocks down clutch threes. He can be the primary ball handler if they need him to be. And Malik Brown and Mason Gillis, and Gillis coming from a Final Four program in Purdue. Just how it is all, he blended them in with Tyrese Proctor, who's obviously been in the program for 3 years, but just how he envisioned all these pieces fitting together, and then to make that vision reality with what is overall a very youthful group.
Yeah, there's so much youth. They just relied on their other two lottery picks to win that game yesterday against Georgia Tech. So I don't know who. Maybe not everybody had votes. I'm going to guess David Teel, you should have a vote forever. Even when you stop covering sports, you should have a vote. Brett, I don't know if you voted. I couldn't believe that Con Knipple wasn't a first-team All-ACC player. I personally think he's either the second or third best player in the league, but that's just me. As you watch Duke in the second half, Brett, specifically to Con, what were you thinking?
He's going to make a lot of money this week because he's going to get highlighted. Cooper Flagg is not going to be there to steal the entire spotlight, and people are going to see how good that kid is and how smart he is. I mean, there were a couple of plays where he goes into the lane and it's totally jammed up. There's nothing there. And instead of forcing up a shot, he dribbles out, makes a move to come back around on the baseline and scores easily. And, just smart plays like that. And some of the passes he made to Malawak, I just think that people are going to see. It's not like he's going to elevate his game. He's going to be Con Knipple, but people are going to notice it a lot more this week here now because Cooper Flagg is not there.
All right, David. UNC, do you agree that they have to win to make the NCAA tournament?
No.
You think they're in? Are they in without it, or they can get in without it?
There you go, Adam. They can get in.
They can.
I'm sitting here in my hotel, and I see the crawl with the scores, and Memphis is in a dogfight with Wichita State in the American tournament. Every bubble team in America is on its knees praying for Memphis. because if the Tigers lose, the AAC becomes a 2-bid league. If the Tigers win, that's a 1-bid league.
Right.
Likewise, in the A10 with VCU, although we don't know for sure that VCU would get an at-large, we know for sure Memphis will if it loses in the AAC tournament.
Right.
So those are the things that you just can't predict elsewhere. And also, there are optics involved. If Carolina goes out there tonight and there's no Cooper Flagg and there's no Malik Brown and they get boat raced, not good.
Yeah, I think they have to win it, but I'm not a bracketologist. They still have one win against the field. I'm not really counting American university in that group. So they have one. I say this, and Brett, you've heard me say it. I think they're good enough. I think if they get in, I will, and I've said this before, I will bet that they will make the Sweet 16 if they get in. But, Brett, are they getting in?
I don't know if Jalen Manick keeps doing what he's been doing. Who knows? They could go all the way to the Final Four, right? It's just a shame that it took as long as it did for Hubert to just kind of hit on this formula. We're going with a bigger lineup with Jalen Withers playing more minutes than Jalen Washington and Drake Powell in the starting lineup. But look, they're playing as well as they can at the right time. So I think that they've got a shot even if they don't win, but they can take the guesswork out of it here by winning tonight. So we'll see. It's going to be fun. Listen, the ACC takes a lot of bashing these days.
Right.
And it's not a great conference right now. But it is a top-heavy conference that we have 4 heavyweights playing today. This is like a regional, NCAA regional quality foursome here tonight. And I think that it's going to put the ACC's best foot forward. And you're going to see that there is some quality in this league. And maybe that will help, UNC's cause. One other thing, you were mentioning the one win against the field.
Yeah.
There's been only one team to get into the NCAA tournament with an at-large bid with only one quad one win since the metric went into effect in 2018-19. That was Drake in 2022. UNC's only got one quad one win, and tonight would be 2. So that might factor into the conversation as well. We just don't know what the committee is going to look at and what they're going to put weight on.
Right, and the truth of the matter is that 2 things do work. I'll say 3 things work in North Carolina's favor. And in theory, they shouldn't, but I think they do. 1, Bubba Cunningham is the committee chairman. 2, It says North Carolina on their shirts, and it is a television show. And I'm sure if it's equal, and I would hope that it would have to be equal, all right, yeah, we might as well put North Carolina in there. We talked to Rob Dauster of Field of 68 before, and North Carolina, Indiana in the first 4 match, like 700 national championships between them. So that would
Alabama in football.
That's right. That is absolutely right. So look, I get it. I get all of it. And I do think that the overall, they have the 5th ranked non-conference schedule. Nobody played a harder non-conference schedule than them because they played basically almost everybody on the 1 line and the 2 line. So their non-conference schedule was too hard for this group, but that's what it was. And I think that could end up working in their favor. All right, the other topic, and I don't want to keep either of you that long because I'm already I've overstayed my welcome. I don't want to be the last person to leave the party. David Teel, who writes for Newport News. You can follow him on Twitter at @ByDavidTeel. Legend. All right, Virginia and NC State both have coaching openings. Where do you think they're going to land with their 2 openings? I'll just leave it as broad as possible.
I think Virginia is going to land on one of 3. And that would be Ryan Odom at VCU, Richard Pitino at New Mexico, and perhaps a little less likely Bryce Drew at Grand Canyon. And I think NC State's search complicates matters for Virginia because I think there's some overlap in candidates there. My sense is if Will Wade becomes the head coach at NC State, it is NC State's Bill Belichick.
Wow.
The AD did not make, the athletic director did not make the decision.
That's
Dave, I think finances are going to have a very, very big part in that decision too, because and not just how much it's going to cost to bring him there, but I think NC State is going to have to make a much heftier financial commitment to basketball, to NIL, to all those things than they did with Kevin Keatts for Wade to come there. I think that it's just as iffy that he'll want to come as opposed to whether they want to bring him there.
What, the Will Wade?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just we just had Rob Dauster on from Field of 68, and Will Wade joined Jeff Goodman in a podcast last night, and specifically, said, "I'm looking for a place where I believe we can compete for a national championship, where they're going to be supported, and a multi-bid league." Now that eliminates the ACC. Just kidding. That was my joke. But is NC State? This NC State, not 40 years ago NC State, is this NC State a place where you can compete for a national championship, David?
They were in the Final Four last year.
Right?
It's fluky.
Sorry to interrupt, but I mean, so was Loyola of Chicago. So anybody can get to a Final Four, and it was a fluke last year. And I'm not saying NC State is not. I was just asking the question.
Yeah, no, as Brett astutely put it, if you put the resources in it, yes, 100%, yes.
Brett, same question.
Absolutely, but you have to put a commitment to being a national program. You can't just say, "Hey, we won championships in the 70s and 80s, so we got a great history." You've got to actually put the money. It's a totally different game these days, and it's all about the resources. And Kevin Keats complained about it all year, and we thought he was whining, and yeah, he was a little bit, but it's legit.
Well, I think Kevin Keats, at the end of his little statement, letter to Wolfpack Nation, at the end, he said, "I believe that NC State will, I'm paraphrasing here, if they put the resources to basketball, we'll get back to being what everybody wants." Now, does that have to come at the expense of football? And I want to do a follow-up with David after that. Can State do both? Can State be a player in football and basketball? To you, David.
Are you asking me?
Yes, I am.
Well, other schools have. You have to have first resources, second coaching. Alabama is doing it. North Carolina is going to attempt to do it.
Right.
If your donors are all in, and maybe I'm color me skeptical, maybe the House settlement and the rev share cap and the enforcement of endorsement deals as market value, maybe that levels it out a little bit, certainly not completely. So if you're invested and you hit upon the right coach and you are in a power conference, yes, you can compete in both sports. No excuses.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that the House settlement, as has been sort of leaked, will stand up in court.
Adam,
unless it's collectively bargained, and they don't want to go that route. But yeah, if we make it true NIL as opposed to what it is now, then I think it has a chance. But I don't know that they're going to be able to do it. Brett?
I think that under the current structure, since we don't know what the House settlement is going to bring about, I think there is a way to do it. Unfortunately, the way to do it is going to come at the expense of soccer, field hockey, swimming, tennis, because that's the funds that are going to get diverted to basketball. And, you have to make a decision. Are we going to do this because those are the revenue sports, or are we going to win national championships in wrestling? So there you go.
They're good in wrestling. All right, now, as we say goodbye, I just want to follow up. When you said that Will Wade would be NC State's Bill Belichick, how much of that is the process on how they arrive at Bill Belichick, and how much is that Will Wade could revolutionize, to use that phrase, NC State's basketball?
Process.
Process.
Yes, 100% process. Now, I don't think Will Wade's going to revolution. I mean, he's a heck of a coach. I was around Will when he was at VCU.
Right.
He was ultra successful there, and he was killing it at LSU. You know, you ask, can schools do it in both? LSU was doing it in both when Will was there.
And what he got into trouble with the NCAA for is legal now.
Hey, look, all NC State, I'm going to steal Rob Dauster, who said it earlier, all NC State has to do is make a strong-ass offer, and it's all done. That's Brett Friedlander. Right. You are awesome. I appreciate your time. At B. Fried, ACC, Saturday Down South, ACC reporter, ACC columnist, and the one and only David Teel at By David Teel. Newport News, everywhere in Virginia. There is no one better. And Brett understands. No one better covering the league than you, sir. I appreciate you being part of lowering your standards to hang out with me and Brett.
My pleasure, Adam. I'll see you over at the arena, brother.
All right, take care.
All right, we've got about 100 years of ACC coverage here on this stage.
Yes, and I've only done 5 of it. I'm kidding. Brett, thank you. David, thank you. We got to hit a break. I appreciate both of them. Man, that was like a gift to me. That was your gift to me, Victoria. That's fantastic. All right, when we come back, thoughts on Will Wade, because I have thoughts on Will Wade. I think NC State is going to make the best run they could possibly make at Will Wade. And also, can it be done in both major sports at the same time? Next.
From the heels,
touchdown, Carolina,
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we've got a new thing for you. It's called the Dog of the Day Profit Boost Token. My favorite things. One of the best parts about the tourney is when an underdog takes down a powerhouse. And right now, those upsets get even better because if your dog wins, you land even more winnings with a profit boost. This is your chance to ride with the long shots, the scrappy teams, the underdogs. There's no need to fear. All right, you understand what I'm talking about. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. Dog of the Day. Profit Boost. Glorious. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager of at least plus 100 odds required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Your background may not include agriculture, but 2 years at the Agricultural Institute will prepare you for a career in it. Whether you are a military veteran with an arsenal of skills, kickstarting your second career, or about to graduate high school, the Agricultural Institute at NC State University is the right place for you. Nurture your passion and find your career. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
Did you know, along with keeping their local communities powered, public power line workers are part of a mutual aid network spanning the state and country? Public power crews help their neighbors when natural disasters damage electric systems. And that mutual aid network is one of the reasons public power has the highest reliability rating among energy providers, forming a camaraderie among line workers that's second to none. Interested in joining public power? Learn more about careers at electricities.com.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Dear North Carolina, for 70 incredible years, you've been by our side. From Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood to the wonders of Antiques Roadshow, from This Old House to NC Weekend, we've explored, learned, and grown together. Because of your support, PBS North Carolina has gone beyond the screen, inspiring, educating, and entertaining in classrooms, at home, and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
Going to college gives you more career options. You could say it pays for itself, but it might not feel that way in the short term, especially when tuitions do. That's where the FAFSA comes in. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. It's your gateway to money for college. Whether you're seeking scholarships, grants, work-study programs, or loans, it all starts with the FAFSA. So how about it? Make a plan for college and find everything you need for the FAFSA at cfnc.org.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people age 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/aging to find your county's ombudsman.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's here. We are going to rewind in a minute. Couple of thoughts on the game today and Will Wade, and maybe a little bit about the Hurricanes before we go to a rewind. Real quick on today's game. Is there a chance North Carolina gets into the NCAA tournament without beating Duke? Yeah, there's a chance. I think it's a very small one. I think it is a 10% chance that they get in. I've been saying this for a while, that I thought there was a path without beating Duke. Now, in my brain, that path also included a win over either Clemson or Louisville. Having a quad one win, another one to your credit, SMU would have provided that. But that has not materialized. The Tar Heels have won twice here at the ACC Tournament. They have a quad 3 and a quad 2 win. The quad 3 win does them nothing. No good. Much like the Pop-Tart that I might have eaten. I did not eat one. Earlier today. I saw a conversation online about Pop-Tarts.
Oh, really?
I did.
It's
whatever.
not even the Pop-Tart bowl.
It's not even the Pop-Tart bowl, right? Like Pop-Tarts need to be toasted. Actually, I would never toast. I actually would never toast a Pop-Tart.
I mean, they're not bad toasted.
I'm not arguing it.
Typically,
You're right.
you have to eat them on the go. You can't. I don't have a portable toaster.
Yeah. First of all, if you toast a Pop-Tart that has frosting, that's a fire hazard. Don't.
Yes.
Guaranteed burn the roof of your mouth.
For sure. Yes.
So I actually prefer the non-frosted Pop-Tart, but that's me. You might think I'm a psychopath for doing that. Now I have no idea what we were talking about. I guess we were talking about so yeah, they could get in, right? But the reality is that they need good wins to get in, and they've got one. I just don't like. Again, I think they're good enough. I said I would bet them to get to the Sweet 16 if they get in. But even when you look at the teams that, we're better than them, we have a better record than them, ultimately it comes down to what have you done against the field? And the Tar Heels have one win against the field. Texas has 7 quad 1 wins. Ohio State has 6. New Mexico, who is playing later today, is 3-3 in quad 1 games. 11-4 when you add quad 2 to the quad 1. 11-4. They have proven they can beat teams in the NCAA tournament. Boise State, 2-5, 7-7 when you add quad 2 to the 2-5. Yeah, you can make an argument over Boise. You can make an argument over Xavier. But they can make an argument over you, too. Indiana, 4-13. Yeah, they ain't great either. Right? Indiana's you probably have the best argument against an Indiana or maybe a Xavier or a Boise State. But even them, 4-13 is better than 1-11. There is a stat called win against or win over bubble, or it's WAB. If you look at win above bubble. So when you look at all the teams and how they would do against a schedule versus a bubble team, Carolina's is plus 1.6, which is okay. It's not awesome, but it's also not dramatically different than Texas's or Xavier's or Boise State's or West Virginia's. It's good. 1.6 is not awesome. It's good. And I'm not saying that Carolina can't get in without beating Duke. Theoretically, they could. But if you think that they don't need to win this game, because I'm telling you this, they could beat Duke, lose to Clemson or Louisville, and still not get in. Because I don't think they'd be guaranteed anything just by beating Duke. Win 2 more if you're UNC. Win 2 more. I don't want RJ Davis's season to end here because I think they will decline an NIT bid if they don't get this. If they don't get into the NCAA tournament, I want to see RJ Davis play more basketball. I want to see Elliot Cadeau, which has been a good version of Elliot Cadeau. I want to see these guys play. I want to see Seth Trimble, who's actually my favorite player to watch on that whole team. I want to see those guys play more ball. Win today. Win today. Prove people like me wrong who don't think you're going to win today. Win today. Very quickly about NC State and Will Wade, and then we'll rewind. We might skip Hurricane stuff because I'll probably talk a lot about the Hurricanes during Storm Watch later on at 6:30. It's clear that NC State has thrown their focus towards Will Wade. The collectives, NC State's collectives, are going to make the difference here. What can you guarantee that Will Wade will have to work with in terms of money to go out and remake a roster that at best will return 4 players, 5 players? That's what you have to figure out. How much can we guarantee that you will have to play with? And when I asked David Teel the question, can you win at both football and men's basketball at NC State? I'm not sure the answer is yes. And it's because of this. The revenue sharing, yeah, every school is going to put forth that revenue sharing money. But there's still going to be collectives. There is still going to be NIL, whether it's real NIL or collectives pooling together money to pay players, which is really what a lot of schools do anyway. And that is ultimately going to be the differentiator between where State is and where other schools are. So State's not going to have as much maybe as some other schools, unless they do, and in which case it'll be fine. But you see how much of that money is going towards football now. I think we're going to have to see it shift the other way, and I'm not sure State can do both. I'm not sure Carolina can do both. But in the football factories, where they have continuously, with dollars, supported both those sports, it's easier. But there ain't a lot of schools doing both. By the way, LSU kind of didn't do that with football. Anyway, I'm not sure you can do both. But that doesn't mean that NC State can't or won't land Will Wade. Quick rewind. Because I want to get to Ryan Wilson of CBSSports.com. We talked with him. Let's start with the Panthers and what he thinks about what they have done already in free agency.
Man, it feels like they're turning the corner, doesn't it? It all started with Bryce coming back and doing what a lot of us thought that he was not going to be capable of doing, at least in Carolina, when he got that second chance once Andy Dalton went down with the injury in the car accident. And it just feels like Dave Canales and what they were able to do, it feels like they're turning a corner. And Dan Morgan, and I was talking about Rico Dowdle the other day for work, and I said, I feel a little bit better about the direction of the roster in Carolina than I do in Dallas, where Rico came from. Now, Rico's going to share snaps with Chuba, and I'm fine with that. I don't think there's any reason to overwork either guy, and you sort of get a 2-for-1 in that situation. But you're bolstering the defense. I mentioned you moved on to Brian Burns. Frankie Luvu went on to Washington, where he's doing what we thought he would do, and you're trying to replace those sorts of players. And I love the foundation they're laying through free agency, and then with the opportunity to continue to get better through the draft on defense. And we're at the point in the conversation now where no one's worried about the offensive line anymore, and that was the talking point for the first 2.5 years of Icky's tenure there. And it feels like we sort of turned the page on that. The quarterback feels relatively settled, and Adam Thielen's coming back, and Xavier Legette's going into year 2. JT Sanders is going into year 2. Dare I say there's reasons for optimism in Charlotte.
Look, they could win the division. Not joking.
No, that's real.
Not joking. Like, I still would make the Falcons the favorite, but they could win that division. The Falcons didn't even win it last year. They fell apart. And maybe thinking the Falcons are the favorites, it's misguided. It might still be Tampa, who ended up winning the division. All right. Let's squeeze. No, we can't. I can't even squeeze it in. I did ask Ryan about the difference in edge rushers. He loves the kid from Marshall. But there are so many good edge rushers. The Panthers are picking at number 8. They will have an opportunity if they wanted to trade back a handful of spots and pick up another asset down the road. They will have that opportunity. It will be interesting to see if their favorite player on this draft board is still there when they draft. That is remain, and we don't know who that is at this point. But they're sitting in a pretty good spot. It does look like we're going to have a quarterback at 1 and maybe probably a quarterback at 3. And if not, there'll be one less. Maybe there'll be one less player that the Panthers love in this draft. I don't think we'll see 3 quarterbacks taken before they draft. But the NFL draft is largely dumb. Victoria, thank you very much for the roundtable. That was great.
Yay!
A couple of bits of housekeeping. I will not be here Monday and Tuesday of next week. And there will be no Canes Corner podcast tonight, but there will be one on Saturday. Victoria, thank you very much. Enjoy the basketball.